welcome to Blank Check with Griffin and David. Hello, everyone. It's producer Ben. Now, this week we have another installment of Best of Moments, this time from our Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith miniseries. Now, normally, you know, guys, this is a podcast where we cover directors' filmographies, right? We examine these filmmakers who have massive success early on, and then Hollywood is just throwing them blank checks, right? Just throwing it at these auteurs. And sometimes, well, the check's clear, and other times they bounce, baby. Originally, though, Griffin and David Present was a podcast that exclusively discussed the Star Wars prequels. And like the previous two episodes, I will also remind our listeners, this is still very much a no-bits podcast. No bits pro smits. But Griffin and David started out by viewing first The Phantom Menace as a standalone film, and didn't know that episodes 2 through 6 existed until amazingly discovering these movies at the end of each miniseries run. Now, finally, one last message before we begin. If you are, in fact, a Sith Lord, I ask that you kindly stop listening right now. All right, enjoy the best of the Revenge of the podcast.
This is Griffin and David Present.
Revenge of the podcast!
Revenge of the podcast. This is our new miniseries.
Do they say I have a bad feeling about this in this one? They
Oh,
say
yeah.
it a lot in the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They say it within the first 20 minutes of this film, which is what we're covering today on today's episode, as is tradition.
It's tradition.
We
have so many hoary old traditions.
we break off a miniseries, which is the first, up into the first crazy edit.
Yep.
So there's, what do you call it? It's not a wipe edit. It's the one
It's like a windshield wiper edit.
It's like the one, it's like the clock edit.
Yeah.
It's like the hands of a clock.
Yeah, we're doing the first battle sequence / lightsaber fight / plane crash, 22-minute. I just called it a cartoon episode. It's like an episode of, Samurai Jack.
I have an analogy. Well, except it's not a masterpiece.
Right.
I have an analogy I want to throw out later in the episode. But just let's just set the table quickly.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe first time listener.
It could be.
This is a miniseries. It started out as us doing a limited series about The Phantom Menace, a film that we thought never got a sequel.
Yeah, we're real stupid.
George Lucas's sci-fi opera clearly had big plans, bigger narrative ambitions. We found out at the end of that miniseries that, in fact, there was
a sequel
called Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
good. The second Phantom Menace movie.
Yeah.
We took a brief detour into Judging the Judge.
It's okay. Let's stick on Star Wars for now.
The original question was, what is the Phantom Menace about?
Oh, yeah, right. And then this with Attack of the Clones, it was, is this a good sequel? Wait, do you have a core question for this third film we've just uncovered? You don't.
I don't have one yet. I mean, I have to make a confession. I this week, for two reasons, only watched up to the point that we're discussing today.
Okay.
One is I thought, let's keep it fucking pure. Okay? I have now uncovered the memories, because we didn't know this movie existed, and then we realized we did, in fact, know it existed.
I know why I buried the memories. I'll tell you that much.
I saw it 3 times in theaters, and I don't remember like any of it. So,
really? Like, you really don't?
I remember the end only.
Sure.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I was watching this shit, and none of it was ringing a bell. But so I watched the first 22 minutes only because I was like, keep it pure. Actually don't have the knowledge of where it's going when you're watching it, you know?
Okay.
And only talk about it,
what
the beginning sets up. Yeah. And 2 was a poor time planning on my part.
Yeah. That's the real reason.
Time management.
I put it on last night and just couldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up the opening crawl.
I don't have a core question yet because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. But I think it...
Shoot.
I'm trying to find the right way to word this. I feel like it has to be something about, like, now that we know he's made 3 of them.
George Lucas.
We can't...
Writer and director.
We've been analyzing these movies from this stance of, like, what was he trying to do? What did he want this to build to?
Okay.
We now have the complete picture. The Star Wars trilogy. The Phantom Menace trilogy.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
I feel like the question has to be, like, what was...
Does this conclude the story well?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
That's
Is this a fitting end to the Star Wars trilogy? That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the mystery. That's the investigation. We figured it out. There we go.
Jeez. It's like pulling teeth with you.
I haven't been sleeping well.
All right, now this is about as blinding a left turn. This is a U-turn.
Okay. I'm gonna eat some peanuts while you read this. Yeah.
In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader, General Grievous, has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate.
Okay, first off, George, a little, to describe your own move
pump
as
the brakes.
stunning.
Yeah, pump
You
it.
know what I'm saying? Like, you're not saying, like,
And not like the Black Eyed
a man
Peas
of stunning
pump it.
power. You're saying, like, a stunning narrative turn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
In a stunning off-screen narrative turn,
Yeah.
a person you've never heard of.
Okay, wait, give me the sentence again.
In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader General Grievous has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, the leader of the Galactic Senate.
Okay.
So Palpatine's a hostage.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Which is interesting because we also know...
Yeah, he's pulling the strings on
Right,
both sides.
Right, and we don't know who Grievous works for.
And
Grievous
who
is
he is, or what he is, or what's going on, or why he's fiendish.
Yeah, no, okay. So I'm kind of liking this now. Okay, so Grievous.
I'm not.
No, I am. I'm liking this a lot. I got a stiffy. Grievous is a droid general. Does that mean he is the general of the droids? Does he command all the droids? Is that his job? That they went, okay, clones one side, humans, non-cloned humans one side, droids one side, three sides, like a triangle. Or did they need a general and they were like, let's build one?
As the Separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, 2 Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor... ...
I wonder which two.
It's good to know. It's interesting to note that, like, this preamble really only speaks to the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like, the rest of the movie, this doesn't really have anything to do with.
Which is maybe...
Because the first 20 minutes solves this issue,
Yeah.
the kidnapping, and the war pretty, 90% of it at least.
Maybe how the crawl should function? Like, maybe
Maybe,
just
yeah,
set
sure.
up... So we have mystery.
It's just
so
some
we have,
backstory.
Right. Okay, so the 2 Jedis, I'm guessing, are going to be Uriel, Puth, and Yaddle.
And you're absolutely... Yaddle never shows up again. We actually never talked about
No,
that. She's only in episode 1.
She's not in the council in the other ones.
They fired her.
Yeah. This is a good sidebar, just because a lateral thinking. No one listening would have this thought. Yaddle and your man, queer man Uriel Puth, makes me think of. Last night I was reading our reviews on iTunes.
Okay.
Producer Ben,
Woo!
a.k.a. Producer Ben, a.k.a. Ben Deucer, a.k.a. Hello Fennel, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. The Haas.
Hey, that's great. I'm so excited to hear that people are leaving reviews. That's so awesome.
25 5-star reviews.
Oh, that's
Yes.
really great.
Thank you, guys. That's so great.
1-star review
What?
from
Fun.
some fucking Sith Lord
Oh, really?
out there. I don't know who it was. They didn't write the
Did
review.
he identify himself as a Sith Lord? You're not supposed to do that.
They did not write the review.
Oh, they just gave
left
a
the
1 star.
Can you pull it up though? Because we have.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah,
Okay.
the internet in here is really bad.
Yep, we had a review that corrected. There's, very nice things people had to say, including the 2 reviews written by Ben. Very,
Thank you,
very
Ben.
nice.
Thank you, Ben.
And you'll know which 2 they are because one of them is signed the Haas and the other one is signed Mr. Positive. But one of the reviews pointed out that we have been making a big faux pas across 2 miniseries. The Jedi with the cockroach face, who we have been calling Plo Koon this entire time,
Yeah.
is in fact called Plo Koon.
Oh, shit.
They
That's
said,
how
like,
you pronounce
show Kloon.
Sorry about that.
So
His name is never said aloud. I believe that's part of the problem.
apologies to Plo Koon.
Yeah. Apologies to the cockroach race he represents.
He's got a cockroach face.
Okay, well, I'm just loading these reviews. They'll be ready in
Okay.
like 20 minutes.
But,
so,
but hey,
let's...
you know what? Keep it up. Keep rating. Keep
Mhm.
reviewing. Unless you're a fucking Sith.
Mhm.
We got
In
no
which
time for
case,
your 1-star garbage. 3 or higher. Guess what?
No, 5 or higher.
Okay, how about this? 6 or higher.
Well, no, then no one's going to leave a review because they won't figure out how to leave a 6-star review. Have you been watching the review?
Yeah, it's the best.
Did you see the 6-star
Yeah,
episode?
it's the
it's
best.
fantastic.
That's my favorite show on television.
It's the best.
I give it 6 stars.
Me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm throwing down
Out
the
of 10.
gauntlet
Just kidding.
right now. If you give us a 1-star rating or review, you are not allowed to listen to the show anymore.
Boom!
Done. Done.
Fuck you!
Done. No fucking Siths allowed. Dun, 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 dun. Crawl, 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 crawl.
Yeah, does
Then
that.
fades into just space.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see a ship go by.
Yeah, that's true. The
Okay.
first one, it's the Jedi ambassador ship,
Mhm.
and in the second one, it's Amidala's ship.
Yeah. Royal cruiser, whatever.
Yeah, and this one, it's like we see the sun
Yeah.
And then we kind of pan down to Coruscant, and then we see this like epic battle is happening
We
over
see there are
Coruscant.
like a billion ships, right? And already I'm like,
This movie is kind of saying like it's zooming out as wide as possible. This is something I'm going to talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's really trying to show off how much detail it can fit into a frame.
which
Is annoying.
congratulations,
Yeah,
you've
great
done
job,
it.
Georgie.
Tons of detail. I hope you're happy.
Yep.
Drink that detail in a cup of my diarrhea. Mix it in with diarrhea. I got a fucking diarrhea McFlurry machine. You could pick your mixin'. Your mixin' is details.
Carry on.
We pan down.
Yep.
One ship, the central ship, sort of flies by in classic Phantom Menace fashion.
Yeah.
But there's so much other fucking shit going on. What usually happens is ships flying by,
Right.
then there's like a big action,
Right.
and then there's like a lull, right?
And then we
Right,
get
so-
to something.
So
Yeah.
in Clones, we got ship goes by, lands, there's a lot of silence, you see people standing there, it's like peaceful, it lulls you into it, explosion.
It's a bad opening.
In Phantom, we see the ship going by, they're communicating
Yeah,
permission to
and
dock,
like,
this
"Go."
and that, the ship land. There's like 4 minutes before they get in, but it
that's
situates
true.
you into the world.
Not this time. War.
My brain immediately turned off.
I know, it's really terrible.
It's such a fucking overload.
Well, especially because it's like, yeah, it's a cartoon. It's just a cartoon thing you're watching. It's just like,
and it's like 17 minutes before we have more than one line of dialogue at the same time.
Real long.
Right?
So you've got
I like the balance between like actor, because this shit's going on. I don't care. You've given me no reason to care. Don't
Yeah.
assume just because I watched the 2 other movies.
maybe do your big space battle at the end, like
Yeah.
in Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
where it doesn't work, but it works better than this.
You gotta let us get into our seat. You gotta let us kick our shoes off. You gotta let us resituate ourselves so
War.
the characters. Ugh.
War.
Ugh.
War. We got the battle, and then I think, as you're mentioning, there's this thing where they like crash into the ship.
Oh right, they
And
do
then
a
there's,
crazy crash. Oh, they barely make it in.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of droids in there, and like R2 has like 4 things.
Okay, we
where
gotta
he,
talk
like,
about R2. We gotta
he,
talk
like,
about R2.
running around. He lights them on fire. He sprays them with oil.
R2's suddenly Inspector Gadget.
And it's really annoying.
It's really fucking annoying. R2 has, by and large, been a tactical
Yeah,
robot.
yeah. He's a repair droid, basically.
Right, and he's just simple, utilitarian.
Yeah.
He's not meant to move around. You put him in the ship, he
Yeah.
repairs shit, right?
And in the second movie, he had this brief like moment of insanity where he like brutalizes C-3PO and flies around, but like it doesn't have any relation to anything, and it just sort of felt
And
tacked
also,
on.
the only special power we saw him use was the rockets. Like, even knocking off C-3PO, like, he did that in a very, like, in a way that was consistent with his movements in the first movie, if
Sure,
that makes
yeah,
any
yeah,
sense.
yeah. But then
Dragging
this-
C-3PO's head was like, okay, he's got, like, a cord. All of a sudden, he's got, like, 4 arms that come out of his body. Like,
he's
the
like
blue
holding
lines.
a cell phone.
He's like holding those blue lines on
I know,
his chest.
They're like little arms.
Aren't just like they flip out. They're like articulated with like multiple joints in them. And then he's also got that data spike thing.
Yep.
Plus he's got the rockets.
Yeah, and
he can shoot. He can fucking pee oil. He pee-pees oil, and then he uses the rockets to burn people with the oil. He's Inspector Gadget, and he's goofy.
But not only that, and I watched.
He's
some-
moving
I
so
watched,
fast too.
I watched the movie with my girlfriend last night, and she had some insights.
A humble brag.
Because she hasn't. Yeah, because she hasn't seen this movie. I don't think she'd ever seen the
Okay.
movie. She'd seen the other one.
Okay.
And she was just really horrified, especially when he pees oil all over them and then sets them on fire.
Yep, gross.
The big battle droids. And she was like, he's not supposed to be violent. Like, R2's like a, cute little guy. He like, he's sort of an ornery little guy, but he's not like, it's like a shockingly violent scene. Like, imagine if those weren't robots.
General Grievous is there at his base, and he's like, it's all right. The second this feeds into like the white noise thing of the movie that's going on, right? Like, they introduce him, and he's got 7 different ticks at the same
It's
time.
true. He's got a cape. He's limping. He's coughing. He's got weird eyes. He collects lightsabers in his jacket. Like,
I already can't pay attention to this character because there's too much business. There is entirely too much business.
and not only that, we've been told this is like a important character
Yeah.
who somehow kidnapped the Chancellor. He comes off immediately like a fool.
Like a fool.
Like, he's decrepit.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be able to like walk around really well.
No.
This whole Chancellor kidnapping plan isn't working.
No,
He
absolutely
takes
not.
the Jedi's lightsabers and literally puts them in his pocket.
Yeah.
They immediately just call them back. Like, you couldn't put him in like a locked box at least. He's like, I'll add it to my collection. Opens jacket, has a pocket, puts them in the pocket. The jacket doesn't close. There's no zipper. It's a cloak.
It's not a jacket. It's a
cloak.
cape. He's
All
got,
right,
a cape pocket.
It's literally what? Why do you put them away?
Yeah, he's a bad
they
character.
have force powers.
He's a bad character.
They can make anything go into their hands.
He's a bad character.
He's the worst character. There's so much more to talk about with him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, I think that he's in the cartoons, right?
Yes.
Like that's where his backstory
He's
lies.
really cool in the Jedi cartoon.
I bet.
He
I'm sure.
fucking makes a meal out of his design, and they make him an almost silent character, and so just a physical
Wait, we forgot to
presence.
mention his accent, because he has like a Dracula accent.
Yeah.
He's like, bring the Jedi to me.
It feels very
like
inspired by
Bela
Hotel
Lugosi.
Transylvania. It's a very Hotel Transylvania vibe. Blah, blah, blah.
Now, I
Everyone
read that
watch
Gary
Hotel
Oldman
Transylvania.
almost played this role.
Yeah, and then I heard John Rhys Davies almost played the role, and instead a guy who worked at Industrial Light and Magic played this role.
How did that happen?
I have no
Was he
fucking
just like in the canteen and was going like, I'm Dracula, and George Lucas was like, hire this man?
I really think Georgie Porgy wanted to get this movie over with.
Yeah, it's possible. Because
Um,
I believe Oldman couldn't do it because the movie has these like weird union rules and like you had
Yeah.
to be like, and that was the rumor I heard, at least, that was the reason he couldn't do it.
I think it also just fits into like his,
I've been trained in lightsabers by Count Dooku.
the same part of him that would rather CGI a helmet rather than put a helmet on a head.
Right.
Would rather just get a guy.
Oldman's fussing. Fucking Jimmy over there.
Get a
can
guy
do
from
it.
down the hall. Oh, should we have one of our finest living actors? No, that guy over there mopping up. Have him play Grievous.
Can you do a voice? I'm trying to find this guy's name, the actor's name.
Whatever it is.
No, I'm interested.
But this is a very important point, David.
Matthew Wood.
Yeah, right.
Go on.
But it's also so modulated, the performance. I mean, it's like whatever voice he's doing, it's also run through like 17
Absolutely.
filters.
No, I
and
mean
then the
it
cogs.
sounds awful.
There's so much
You
fucking
can barely
going on.
tell what he's talking about.
And
Not that it matters.
There's so much camera movement, too. There's so much fake CGI camera movement that's like you barely can get your bearings within a single frame,
Yeah.
David. So much visual information,
Yeah,
so much noise.
He's a sound editor, by the way. That's who Matthew Wood is.
Well, it sounds like he did 2 bad jobs on this movie. Grievous is like, what's going on here?
No, wait. We should actually pull back because in between the space battle and Grievous is the Dooku fight.
I'm talking about the very first introduction of Dooku.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
Grievous.
Fair
I'm
enough,
actually
This is
going
before
back
he captures
further,
them,
which is
right.
just when he sees that they're coming towards him, and he turns to like a Nemoidian
Mm-hmm.
and goes like, whatever the fucking dialogue is. I don't remember. It's not
Blah,
important.
blah, 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 blah.
But the Nemoidian, and it's a new Nemoidian I don't think we've seen before.
Yeah.
Goes like, "Sir, the Jedis are coming for us."
Yeah, he has an American accent. I know. I noticed that.
This is huge.
It is. It's interesting. They're like, maybe this guy should talk different. Yeah.
He almost sounds like a Californian surfer.
Yeah, no, he does. You're right. You're absolutely right. He's looking at some.
Like, Sir, the Jedis are approaching.
And General Grievous is like, use the blaster shields, spaghetti.
Make a pizza pie.
He's like a diner chef.
but
It's too bad. Jexter's not in this one, by the way. Sad.
not at all.
No, I know.
Fuck this movie.
yeah, just turn it off.
TC-14 comes back though, right?
Griffin.
Double fuck this movie. It does feel like in a severe instance of too little, too late.
Mm-hmm. Someone finally prevailed on George.
Or the Georgie Porgy was trying to go like, see, they don't all sound like that. It was just those specific characters.
But Newt Gunray does come back, and guess what?
He sounds like that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, you're saying like, look, he just has an accent
Those
from
guys
his planet.
specifically, they're all regionally. That was they're not Chinese aliens. Maybe that one grew up in space China.
Yeah, space China.
This guy grew up in space Valencia. He sounds like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
For 1 minute.
He's got like 2 lines, yeah. And he goes like, "Sir, I think the Jedis are here."
It's been 3 years. Just
Okay.
to let you know. Since
So it's a
Attack of the
3-year
Clones.
war.
Yeah.
Anakin,
Anakin chops off in a kind of a weird fluid move. Chops off Dooku's hands.
both of them.
Yeah. Sort of like
Gross.
brings,
Really violent.
It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts.
Pretty jarring.
Dooku falls to his knees.
Yeah.
Anakin catches his blade like with ease and just like gives him the old sort of, puts them to his neck.
He's got like chopsticks going. He's got like a blade in each hand pointing the opposite direction, so he's got a blade against each side of his neck.
Course. And Dooku's just looks like a sad grandpa all of a sudden. He's just so upset. He's so defeated.
And Palpatine's like, "Finish him.
No, he literally says, kill him.
Kill him."
And
Just like a
Anakin's
command. It's not like he's like requesting it.
No,
just
he goes like,
"Anakin, kill him."
good, Anakin, good.
Yeah.
Kill it.
Kill him.
And Anakin's like, oh, duh, I don't know if I should do. That's not the
That's
Jedi
a Jedi
way.
way, God, get. Your
And-
Anakin's getting really gay.
Yeah, And
really
Palpatine literally, you would hope maybe that there'd be, Palpatine would really sort of try and sell this and be like, oh, you got to kill him. He'll come, like he just said, do it.
Isn't there a moment too where he goes like, remember what we talked about?
No. He just says,
It might happen after he kills Dooku. But there's a line in here that implies that they have been meeting and talking a lot.
We're supposed to know that, that Anakin's gotten very close with the Emperor. I mean, the Chancellor.
Right. And it's like, well, show us that shit.
No, they won't. And
that should have been happening.
No, thank you. And
that's an interesting dynamic. Maybe that should have been on screen. The developing of their relationship, how they go from 0 to 60. At the end of Phantom Menace, he's like, "I'm gonna keep an eye on you, boy."
No,
Attack of the Clones, he does almost nothing.
Pats him on the shoulder.
Barely corresponds with Anakin.
We shall watch your career with great interest.
Right, exactly, right. And then in this one, he just everything good happened off screen.
Anyway, Anakin chops off his head,
and he's immediately like he's so even keeled about it, right?
Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I should. And Palpatine's like, you should. And he's like, okay, I will. Decapitates.
Yeah.
Right?
Gross.
Head rolls. Gross.
Yep.
What the fuck is this movie? Okay?
Yeah.
And then Anakin goes like, I shouldn't have done that. Like
that was a
immediately.
bad idea.
Yeah, he goes, that was a bad idea.
Which, by the way, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, kill the Sith Lords. They're magical wizards of dark evil. Like, I don't actually really get why it's supposed to be like, no, they should probably die. They are impossible to imprison.
But he was like so
They
wrecked.
shoot lightning out of their hands for crying out loud.
So wrecked with guilt about the slaughtering, the
Tusken
genocide
Raiders,
of the Tusken
which was
Raiders.
pretty horrifying. Let's not.
Yeah,
forget.
no, agreed. Right, but he was very emotionally affected by
Yeah,
that.
this one he's just like, ugh. Gross.
You know what? That was a mistake. You know what? That was bad. Bad on me.
Anyway, he frees Palpatine.
And Palpatine's like, no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
and he's
Palpatine.
like, I don't know.
Now, this movie really is about how every character's internal logic radar is broken.
Yeah.
Because Palpatine is basically just like a serpent at this point. He's like, yes. And then he's like, Palpatine's like, we gotta go. Forget Obi-Wan.
Palpatine's got a big foam finger that says Sith on it.
Obi-Wan is literally lying peacefully with like a staircase kind of touching his ankles.
He looks beautiful.
And
He's
Palpatine is like,
beautiful slumber.
It's
He's
over.
like Sleeping
He's
Beauty.
dead.
Yeah.
And like Anakin's like, don't worry about it. Like just like
He says,
his fate will be our own.
yeah, right. So they take Obi-Wan.
But like, why isn't Anakin like, hold up, like, excuse me, like I just like stormed this like whole starship, and like I can pick up the stupid staircase for 1 second. Why are you pushing this?
Yeah.
Because Palpatine doesn't drop it. He's like, no, there's no time. Boyhood's a good movie.
Yeah. Why was I equating it to Boyhood?
You're talking about Ellen Sleazebagano.
Oh yeah, we want him to come back and go like, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at a bar.
Episode 4 is probably about that. I'm just assuming now we're so stupid that there's an episode 4.
Well, Disney did buy the company, so I'm assuming they did that in order to make an episode
Maybe
4.
that's what it is.
That's probably what we could probably look forward to an episode 4 from Disney sometime in the next 5 or 10 years. I mean, it takes a long time for movies to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be talking about this movie for a bunch of weeks, and then after that, I don't know. We'll go on to other movies because we'll have to wait for episode 4 to come out. We got some great guests coming up this season.
People hate the bit.
We got some great guests. Yeah, I don't know what the
Hey,
fuck
hey,
you're
Ben.
talking about.
Ben's looking at me with just scorn.
You're being a real sleazebagano right now.
Yeah.
We got some great guests coming up. David doesn't even know about them. They're going to be fucking exciting surprises. They got tons of Twitter
turn
followers.
this off and you can tell me who they are.
They'll push to the top of the
All
charts.
right, tons of Twitter followers. Let me take some guesses. Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be amazing. What if Taylor Swift came on this podcast?
You know what I've been thinking a lot lately?
Shoot.
I think Taylor Swift would like me.
Yeah, probably.
I think she would think I was fun. I'm not saying she would like me.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Although a boy can dream. But I do think we'd hit it off. And we'd shake it off. If you know what I'm saying, David. I think Taylor Swift and I would shake it off.
Turn off his
I
microphone.
know. Yeah.
Please rate, review,
Yes,
subscribe.
listen to other UCB network podcasts.
Please, yeah, do listen to all of those. Subscribe, rate, review. Don't be a fucking Sith. 5 stars or nothing.
That's great.
And once again, remember, if you give us 1 star, you are not allowed to listen anymore. So
Or be a guest.
think through on that, Taylor.
Dear, oh dear.
That is all I have to say on the matter. I look forward to watching the rest of this film. Unlike with Attack of the Clones, where I loved the beginning of the movie and then knew already that it didn't pay out, I'm going into this with the opposite opinion. I know you hate this movie.
I do.
But I'm looking at the first 22 minutes, I'm going, who knows what happens in the back?
We just dissed it for so long.
Yeah, but I've only seen the first 22 minutes. I don't know.
This movie is the worst of the Star Wars
Impossible.
movies. It's not impossible.
Impossible.
In fact, it's very likely.
Impossible.
Yep.
Although I haven't liked one thing that's happened on screen so far, other than Ian McDermott's performance. Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back next week with Taylor Swift.
Will we?
Yeah, we'll be discussing sound mixing. We'll be discussing... Taylor Swift is like a J.D. Amato level savant when it comes to the technical aspects of
She's
sound.
been in the music industry since she was 16
You
years old.
think I'm fucking joking? I'm not. Taylor Swift will be our guest next week talking about sound mixing.
She's gonna teach me a thing or two.
Yeah.
Great. She knows where at the UCB training
why do you
center.
think I'm bringing her in?
Oh,
I'm glad you're taking the hint.
oh, okay.
I've been realizing some old episodes, Ben. You haven't done some of the edits that we asked you to.
That's true.
All those times I told you to edit out.
Mention of your father's financial problems.
Yeah, I think fucking you added some in. It feels like some episodes you dropped
Ben
audio
does a
from
great
other
Griffin.
episodes.
He does a great Griffin.
Taylor Swift will be coming here next week, talk about Matthew Wood's sound mix on the film, his sound editing on the film. We'll give Ben some helpful pointers, and we'll try to hit it off. Look, just as friends. I'm just looking for friends. If you want something more, I don't know, that's fine. But I just think we'd really get along. I think we have a lot in common.
Great.
Thank you for listening, and as always, shake it off.
Hindsight's 2020.
But before we get into this, a little housekeeping.
Oh, okay. Housekeeping.
Just want to quickly remind everyone to please continue subscribing, rating, reviewing on iTunes. Helps us.
Yeah.
Helps UCB comedy in general. Producer Ben Hosley, a.k.a. Producer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. Hello Fennel, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. the Haas. Sitting to my right.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, Ben.
Yes, fans. Come on, guys.
Rate and review.
We have a
So
responsibility.
easy.
Ben has done us a
easy.
mitzvah by allowing us to do this podcast, and we need to help line the coffers.
That's right.
Metaphorically, there's no money to be made, but we're lining the metaphorical.
There's no money to be made?
No, I mean, what you thought?
Hit stop. I'm out of here.
You thought the checks were just 8 months late? What? Do you
Oh, that was just a classic Sims bit.
One of my patented Sims bits.
I want to make it clear: we don't do bits like that on the show. We don't pretend that movies
This show
don't
doesn't like
exist.
bits.
No.
We don't pretend that we thought we were getting
This is
paid.
serious talk.
It's a serious show.
I mean, I'm thinking about changing the genre from comedy to just like TV and movies. Because, like, this is a culture show.
At very least, dramedy. I think that there's a dramedy section.
We're the Nurse Jackie of podcasting.
We are. This
That was
fucking
funnier
movie is a
than the
tragedy.
reaction it got in this room. That was
It's
really
funny.
funny.
That's really funny. Yeah.
All right. Tragedy of Revenge of the Sith.
Please, but this is the point I want to make, and it'll tie into everything. Please rate, review, subscribe, unless your review is going to be negative, or you're going to give us low stars, in which I'm going to restate because maybe you skipped over episode 1 of Revenge of the Podcast. You're jumping in today because you don't like hearing about the beginning of movies.
Hey, how about this? You don't want to review the podcast. Review the movie, and just put that up.
Just put that up.
Who cares?
But
But you better give us 5 stars.
if
Yeah.
you give us a bad review or anything less than 5 stars, you are a Sith Lord. And I want to state this very clearly before we get into the meat of this episode, because if you are
That
a
is
Sith
a bad
Lord,
thing to be.
if you are a Sith Lord, stop listening now. I threw down the gauntlet last week. You are not allowed to listen to this podcast.
All right, Griffin.
If you are a Sith
Let's
Lord.
move on.
Are all Sith Lords out?
Let's move on.
No bits.
No
okay?
bits.
No bits.
I'm serious. I don't want fucking Sith Lords listening to this episode.
Griffin, let's get to
This
the
is a
movie.
serious
all right,
episode.
all right. No more yelling about Sith Lords.
Despite what he says to many people, including his wife, married life seems to have given him no happiness.
No, it's true.
There's the scene where they see each other like for the first time since he
By
got
the
back
pillars?
from the Clone Wars.
At
Hide him behind
Pillar
a pillar.
City?
Yeah,
At this set that we keep returning to that's just
It's
80,
pillars.
it's just an auto population of
it just
pillars.
runs into 2 pillars.
It's just pillar.
Yeah, well, they did copy paste.
It really looks like someone took SimCity and just was like, drop a pillar every
There's
5
a lot of
yards.
copy pasting in this movie.
A lot.
Um,
Yeah, they meet by some pillars.
yeah, and he's just like, "Oh, Padme, I missed you so much."
How are you doing? I
It's
was at the war.
The last movie was about you fucking fighting to be with this woman.
It's been 3 years
Against
or so.
all odds, against all judgments. You're laying low. Like, you've sacrificed so much to be with her. You should fucking be still head over heels in love with her. Or the fact that you're falling out of love should be the point. Instead, it's just like, oh, he's just a boring couple.
And what news does she give him right after the first 22 minutes?
She's
She's
pregnant.
got some news. She's pregnant.
She's pregnant. But I think this is a different episode. I wanna stay on Anakin, okay? Just his emotional journey in this film, okay?
Okay.
Because we gotta
Relax. Let's just tell the story.
I'm so frustrated with this movie.
You're worried too much.
Do you remember last week when I was hoping that I would like it, watching the whole thing.
Yeah, but that was just stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb.
That was real stupid of you.
Okay. We should also say that you earlier today saw a very depressing, traumatic movie. And I earlier today had to say goodbye to a friend who's moving to LA, and I'm very upset about it.
Oh, who?
My manager.
Aw.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's not technically my manager. He was my manager's assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's kind of one of my very good friends. And he's
Yeah, we're recording this late in the day, and I saw Room is it's a punishing film. It makes you feel like you're trapped in a small, enclosed room from which there is no escape.
And another thing that makes you feel like you're trapped in a small room with no escape is having to say goodbye to Nick Damiano. So
Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
All right. Please, let's carry on. Finds out Padme's pregnant. They're living in an apartment in Coruscant in secret, I suppose?
No one knows they're together. They have
It makes no sense.
Apartment.
She has this palatial apartment with a great view of downtown Coruscant. I don't know.
Is there not paparazzi too? Like, how are they keeping this a secret?
Whole
She's
Planet's
like
a city.
in the government.
Whole Planet's a city.
Pretty
sure that's always going to be the answer. Whole Planet's a city. A lot
It's
of alleys to duck
big
down.
old city. I mean, it's the whole planet. So
there is a actor who I'm working with right now.
Who?
I don't want to say it because the whole point of the story is
Okay.
the desire for anonymity. I'm not saying anything embarrassing, but you'll see when I explain.
But you're going to tell me
tell
off
the
mic.
anecdote. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, you could figure it out too.
Yeah.
But
I could always cut it out.
no, you're not cutting out. I'm trying to make a point here.
Ben never cuts anything out.
Okay. Ben, cut out this part.
All right.
No, go on.
No
No,
bits.
Ben, cut out the part about you not cutting stuff out
All right, fine.
because that makes the podcast sound sloppy.
You're right. No bits.
Okay, so cut starting from when David said Ben will cut this out to right
And
now.
Now.
Okay. There's an actor I'm working with right
Yep.
now. Oh, wait, but you're going to have to cut out either that line or
Griffin.
the first time I said there's an
Griffin.
actor I'm working with
Griffin,
right
I hate
because it'll
bits.
sound like redundant. Okay.
You're an actor you're working with.
He was talking about on set earlier this week how he bought a new place
Cool.
with his
Many millions.
his paramour.
Oh.
And did it under his own name rather than creating an LLC to buy the place.
Sure.
And because of that,
Mm-hmm.
I guess real estate listings are public. If things are
Right.
bought and sold, they just
No,
are
yeah, 'cause
publicly
you'll
released in the
see
paper and
articles
stuff.
like, check out, like, X celebrities listed their apartment.
Well,
or
that's
whatever.
the point. He just bought something,
Uh-huh.
and then it was just listed on like the big New York Times list of like apartment sales
Right. Big
in
sales.
New York City.
Sure.
And then a bunch of outlets picked up his name on this list of non-famous buying stuff.
Right.
And then it was like a fucking People magazine thing, and then
Yeah.
people were like investigating their place and all this stuff.
People like to know these things.
The point is, it was that easy for like 47,000 outlets. And he's like, now I can't help but be hounded by fucking stuff about the place I'm moving into. Everyone fucking knew, and now everyone knows everything about his life. You tell me fucking Anakin and Padme have like a
They are
beautiful... They're married?
Yeah.
They have like a beautiful, like it looks like a penthouse.
It's huge. It's got this crazy balcony.
It's the craziest balcony I've ever seen.
it's 50% balcony, this apartment.
Not to mention, lady's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
And becoming more and more visible by the day.
Yeah.
Anakin and her spend a ton of time together.
They do.
So like probably at the end of like Jedi Council meetings, they're like, hey, Anakin, do you want to ride? I'm going back to
No. See, this
our
is
Jedi
where...
chambers.
No,
He's
no.
like, no.
This
I'm
is
gonna-
where we already don't know the answers. Where do the Jedis live? Do they live in the temple? Do they have like little apartments there?
Yeah, they probably do.
These questions are never answered.
No,
we never
but
see this.
that's my assumption.
So my assumption is Anakin's got his Jedi temple apartment.
Yeah,
Padme bought that place by herself.
right. And
And
he goes
then-
over there every night and no one's ever noticed?
Palpatine mentions, like, the Dark Lords of the Sith kind of know how to bring people back from the dead, or at least one of them did.
Starts play, I guess. We'll talk about that more in another episode. But he dangles
Armed
this carrot.
with this measly piece of gossip,
Hearsay.
hearsay,
Yeah.
Anakin, I guess, just deduces that he's a Sith Lord?
So we didn't. He doesn't cross-reference this with anybody,
No,
right?
doesn't talk to anyone else.
We know they have a library.
Yeah.
Well, but in his defense, Jocasta
Jocasta is a
News
real pain in
played
the ass.
fast and loose, deleting files, right?
It's just real pain in the ass.
But he does trust Obi-Wan.
That's true.
And at this point, Palpatine has not tried to instill doubt in him.
Not really.
Yeah. So he just kind of like would trust Obi-Wan at this point. And Palpatine would tell him this thing. Look,
No, I know. Obi-Wan's basically saying, Palpatine's basically saying, like, I know you're a Jedi, but you're worried about your wife. And unfortunately, the dark side's the only part of the Force that can do the kind of shit we're talking about.
Okay, so even if he's conflicted enough and he's still trying to figure out the lay of the land and he doesn't want to rat out Palpatine, I do think he would turn to somebody. A Kenobi, a Yoda, a Windu, a Clune even. A Poof.
He doesn't.
A Mundi.
He doesn't.
A Galia.
But then he does figure out that Palpatine's
A
a
Fisto.
Sith Lord. How does he figure it out exactly?
Well, wait. So the point is, I think he would turn to them and just go, "Hey, have you heard anything
He doesn't
about
do this.
anyone being able to prevent death?"
He doesn't do this.
He just goes, "Huh, interesting."
Darth Plagueis, you say. Anyway.
Now Anakin's the worst person in the world.
Not only that, he is immediately, Palpatine's like, rise Lord Vader. Like, he's like, he has a name in his pocket.
Can we
Darth
say it though?
Vader.
Can we
Great
say it though?
name.
Cool fucking name.
Great
We
name.
gotta say this.
Look, I'll say this.
Fucking
All the
name.
Darth names are good.
This
Darth
is the best
Sidious,
one.
Good. Darth Maul, great. Darth Tyrannus, I wish they'd said it out loud more, but pretty cool.
But this
Darth Vader.
This guy, I mean, there's a weight to that. Do you know what I'm saying?
The only problem I have with it is literally that he's just like, yeah, you know what, Vader. Like he just has it ready.
Yeah.
But it's a great name.
It is the best name.
It's a cool name, and he's like, all right, so welcome to the dark side. As your initiation, do please go to the Jedi Temple and slaughter every child in it.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm not joking. Like that's how quickly that is, right, Ben?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, so you can go to my dry cleaners and get my Sith robes, and
Yeah,
then, you know,
yeah, no.
he doesn't build. He's just like, you know how there are all these adorable children that
Yeah.
we've seen last movie and this movie who run around the Jedi Temple being little
Kill
tykes.
them all.
Please slaughter them.
Now, I think they missed out on a great opportunity for a real funny scene, which is having him chase the kids around, because you don't get to see the murder. Yeah, a little Benny Hill music. Why not?
I'll say
the classic doors, hallway scene.
I watched this movie as I mentioned last week. I watched this movie with my girlfriend, and that scene where he shows up at the Jedi Temple,
Yeah.
and he's like, they're like, a kid's literally just like, what's your matter, Master Anakin? Like the cutest little dweeb.
Scared. Can you help us?
And he just goes like, he like ignites his saber, and
No
you cut.
hesitation.
She just went like, ah! Like
Yeah.
it was the stupidest, most horrifying, like
Okay, first of all,
rapid transition.
I'm so close to being on the verge of tears right now, just in frustration over everything.
and laughing at the Benny Hill imagery.
And that was really funny. But no, I don't want to keep harping on this because I like subversive cinema. I'm not asking everything to be put in a box. I'm not saying you have to fucking save
course
the
not.
cat.
yeah.
And I like, especially within mainstream filmmaking, populist filmmaking, even children's filmmaking, to twist shit.
I don't have the problem is that it's
But, okay,
unearned.
You're like a 6-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And you're fucking watching the Phantom Menace trilogy. Oh, here's a movie about a little boy. I'm 6 years old. I
He
don't
drives
have
a race car.
well-developed critical facilities, so I love it. I love this little boy.
Go on.
Second movie. Ooh, love. I don't know what love is yet, so this film seems like an accurate representation of how adults relate to each other emotionally. I'm in. And he's cutting robots. Ooh, this series is fun. You're a kid. This movie's made for kids. These movies are made for kids. And then you watch the third movie, and it's like, ooh, Anakin's getting tempted by the bad guy. So this must be the setup so that at the end he can come back and find his way the good side. Oh, now he's murdering kids who look like me.
Yeah. Little white babies.
Oh, so everything in the world is terrible.
I guess so. This is something I don't care about. I feel like this is more your thing than my thing.
I don't know if I care about it. I'm just like astonished by
It's just
it.
unearned. That's my problem with it.
Well, everything in this movie's on it.
Well, that's fair. But like the leap, I mean, the reason this seems to happen in the middle of the movie is that we need to definitively know that Anakin is beyond hope, right?
Yes.
That he does an act that is so reprehensible.
0 to 100.
It's 0 to 800.
Yeah.
It's 0 to it's so stupid.
Because
Then you've got a whole movie left, like a whole hour plus.
Yeah. This is the shortest of the three, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's really just that
It's-
little movie, and then you kind of just wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of wrap up.
It's a lot of wrap up. But the wrap up is
It's
just
out of nowhere.
conclusively telling us that this guy sucks and he's beyond saving.
Do you have a merchandise spotlight?
Yeah, I have a
Is
merchandise.
it a
spotlight.
burned up Anakin
Yeah,
merchandise?
it's a burned up Anakin.
I was going to ask if there's a Youngling Massacre merchandise.
They made some of the kids. There's that one scene where Bail Organa, played by the great Jimmy Smits, goes to the
and there's the kid who sort of valiantly fights off some clone troopers and then dies.
And it's a weird
and Jimmy Smits is like, no!
Yeah. Right. So we've seen all these kids get killed. We think all of them are dead. Then Jimmy Smits gets there. He's trying to get out. The fucking clone troopers are trying to shoot at him. This little boy comes out, protects him, dies in the process. And it's like a weird scene. You're like, why would they put this into the movie? The kid's just doing crazy space karate. That kid is played by George Lucas's son.
Oh, really?
Who is really into karate. And so George wrote the scene to the movie so he could do his
That's very cute.
martial arts in the movie.
Although it's a little weird that George Lucas is like, he will have to die on screen.
Yeah. But you die a martyr?
You die with Smits going, no!
Yeah, no one's happy about the fact that you're dying.
No.
Here's the crispy Anakin action figure.
Oh, this is terrible. He doesn't look crispy. He just kind of looks hairless.
Yeah.
And covered in mud.
Yeah. He looks.
He's got a robot arm.
He looks like the I Am Legend robots. I think the legs are removable.
They're not robots in I Am Legend.
The movie's not about robots? I gotta rewatch that movie.
Oh,
I thought it was about robots.
This is terrible.
Well, okay, so
it doesn't look like Anakin's face.
No, it doesn't. Here, this will look like.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, who does it look like? It looks like this. I mean, this is what kid wants to play with it? This is
a broken toy.
It's a broken toy to remind you of how everything in the world is terrible and everyone you love will hurt you. And then we'll get hurt in the process. This is just a plastic representation of misery.
Wow.
But it comes with a cloak so you can turn him back into regular Anakin.
Oh.
You put the cloak on top of the
That's
thing.
weird. So how did we get here? This is the Anakin episode, but we don't know why this happens.
No.
It's like the whole movies are now revealed to be this ultimate tragedy of one man, right? It's like you have this person like prophesies to change the Force, prophesies the future of the Jedis, and it turns out to be their worst nightmare.
Yes.
He brings about their very end, although it's really Palpatine who does most of it. Most of the work.
And it's also so muddled. It's like, in a way, they're sort of trying to say that, like, by putting the pressure on him of having to restore the balance, that maybe that made him crack, but they don't do the work to make that pay off. Is it just, hey, he was just a kid and evil corrupted him, and evil could corrupt anyone. All of us are corruptible. Are they trying to say that he was destined to fall? Are they trying to say that he just had the bad luck of being in Palpatine's way?
There's a real hint of destiny to it, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's another angle I want to get out in the Palpatine episode to talk about.
But there is kind of a hint of like, even if the Jedi had played their cards right, which they don't.
Yeah.
That all of this, and like we talked about in the Phantom Menace, that all of this was kind of coming to an end. That like there's opulence,
it's
there's
rules of the game.
Yeah, exactly, the red tape,
Le règle de jeu.
the règle de jeu. I recently rewatched that
It's
film.
a great film.
Yeah, that's a great film.
It's an anti-Revenge of the Sith.
But it's very similar to Revenge of the Sith, or some parts of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and it's about these rich fools kind of ignoring like
what's really
society
around
crumbling around them.
Dealing with petty like domestic drama
Exactly.
is focused on while the world around them crumbles. But what you needed 3 movies to do that, to trick us into thinking we were going to watch someone save the world and just
not
watch them die?
Only that, he
and the
needed
world is
3
cruel
movies to
and
finally
merciless?
maybe get a good character out of Anakin Skywalker and give him to us for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another Star Wars movie.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Revenge of the Podcast.
I knew you were going to do that.
I didn't either. I'm going with the flow.
No.
Power.
Do you know that on a recent list of the 1,000 most popular baby names in America, according to the Social Security Administration, this is a very official list, Anakin was number 957.
So he just crept in the bottom there. He's finally on the top 1,000.
But that amounts to 218
babies
Yes.
a year.
So just for comparison, the other baby names, male baby names tied for 218 are Emmett, Baylor, Judson,
What?
Judson.
Judson is not a name.
and Truman. Now, Truman and Emmett are real person names.
They are just about Emmett. You don't know
Emmett's
a lot
a
of
real
Trumans. No, it is. It's just, Emmett.
Truman,
you'll hear.
a president. We have a president after
That was his last name.
Emmett Otter.
Emmett Otter. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The Truman Show.
No, yeah. I mean, that's what I think of when I think of
Right. His name
Truman.
was Truman Show.
His name was Truman
And we
Burbank,
called him
wasn't it?
like it's the James Brown.
Isn't
coming
it
to
his
see
last name is Burbank because like the studio is in Burbank?
Yeah, I think
like
his
and
name's
it's,
Truman
he's like
Burbank.
owned
Yeah,
by
Truman's
a
his first name,
corporation.
right? Yeah. Anyway,
I love that movie.
Anakin is a name that was created by a maniac,
Yep.
a soulless sociopath named George Lucas.
Yep.
And now we know that this franchise, this trilogy, is about watching him murder children.
Mm-hmm.
So to the 218...
And strangle his wife and
Yep.
abuse his wife. And I'm not even fucking joking. Like, it's insane what he does to his wife.
To the 218
Anakin's.
parents,
Sure.
who named their child Anakin in 2014, knowing all that we know right now, go fuck yourself. You're a bunch of Sith Lords.
What's wrong with you? Bunch of Sith Lords. 218 people who won't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen. You cannot. You are not allowed to
I
listen
know.
to this podcast.
All right.
Final order of business.
My God.
It's a segue.
Okay.
And I ain't talking about the...
You're not talking about the people moving
the
piece
scooter
of
thing.
transportation. Yeah.
Right. This is a transition. Good, yes, Anakin, do it.
Good, Anakin.
Do it.
Do it.
Right. Okay.
Do
so
it.
Already a little weird. Different than we've seen.
Do it. Do it.
When's someone going to give us $200 million to make a movie? The three of us.
We would fuck it up so
No,
hard.
we
Are you
would.
kidding
No
me?
way.
It'd be such a good movie,
It
right,
would be
Ben?
a really good movie.
No
Yeah.
one would want to make it.
I'm full of ideas.
Ben, give us a quick pitch. We're going to...
Oh, you're saying we shouldn't get sidetracked. Now you're asking Ben to pitch a movie.
Every 15 minutes, I'm going to throw to Ben. He's going to give us a quick pitch. Ben, quick pitch.
All right,
$200 million.
One sentence.
But it has to fill $200 million worth of budget.
Okay. It's an organization that you hire to play pranks on people who were mean to you in high school.
Okay, that's
So
the plot of Dirty Work. Okay, let's go on.
Oh fuck, you're right.
That's the plot of Dirty Work.
All right.
And it's at most a $20 million budget.
Well,
Palpatine.
let's bring it back.
Okay.
No,
we'll reboot
Dirty Work, but
Work.
with like an Ocean's 11 cast.
I want to
Maybe
see
you
the
could-
Yeah.
origin. I want to see like how they became Dirty Work. Let's do 6 movies. Okay, fuck everything, fuck the world,
Palpatine.
cut everything, start over.
This
Hi,
movie,
this is Griffin
all right,
and
I don't
welcome
want to
to
do
Griffin
this
and
starting
Present.
over bit. We've done that too many
No bits,
times.
no bits.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Palpatine opens up with like, I heard they're not electing a Jedi Council. How does that make you feel? Must not make you feel great, huh? It's like, well, first of all, let's just point this out quickly, okay? Jedi Council, limited membership, right? There are literally
Yeah,
very few seats.
It's like 16 total. It's however many seats fit in that circle.
Okay,
They do give him a seat though, because they're like, "Yeah, we're not giving you master. Take your seat."
yeah. But there are
It'd
very...
be good if his seat had like a different leather backing. You know, if it was blue instead of red. Anyway,
Or there wasn't a toilet in it. It looked the same, but you couldn't poop inside of it.
that would be a real outrage.
That's a callback for you,
Longtime
Phantom
fans.
podcast
Longtime fans.
listeners. There aren't that many seats available. The only new Jedi we have seen appointed to the council has been Obi-Wan. And those are extreme circumstances where his master died,
Mm-hmm.
right? A seat was, therefore, given up.
I guess so. Yeah.
But this is new business. Also, everyone else on the council is significantly older than Anakin.
Age is hard to tell with some of these aliens, but certainly yes.
David, we've
Well,
looked
how
up
old
most
is
of these
Mace
people.
Windu though?
Mace Windu's probably like 55.
Yeah, he's like 20 years older than Anakin. 20, 30 years older than Anakin.
Okay, within human years, that's a good difference.
That's fair.
right? That
That's
represents a
fair.
good portion of your lifetime.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
Okay, so it was unlikely. It was a stretch that he was going to be made a Jedi Master and put on council.
No,
anyway.
absolutely. He's only on the council because Palpatine asked them because they wanted to play this crazy role. But, you know, if they wanted him to play the crazy role, they could have at least, for the sake of show, given him that rank of Master. Now, maybe they're trying to play their own game where they're like, oh, we don't want Palpatine to think he's in with us.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of chess being played, right? But they don't know that Palpatine has, like, a big hammer that can smash all the chess pieces at once.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They think they're playing 3D chess. He's playing, like, 8D chess.
Yeah. Palpatine's kind of a G. I said he was a basic bitch, but he's kind
No,
of a
he
G.
is crazy.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
So they're talking, and he's like, "How does that make you feel?" And he's like, "Not good. I don't feel good about it. I feel
Which
like
is
everyone's
not,
disrespecting
Jedis are not
me.
supposed to not feel
This
good,
and
but
that.
anyway.
I'm stressed out, having these dreams." And he's like, talking about all this stuff, and then he goes, you know, they have this conversation. He goes, well, you know, the Jedi see things in very didactic ways, this
Sure.
and this and that.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, you know, and he says, you know, there are other forms of the Force. He uses this line that I think is very interesting within the context of our larger exploration of this movie, which is, he goes, what do you know about the Sith? And he goes, the Sith are driven by passion. They make decisions only based on themselves. The Jedis are selfless. Like, he's saying there's not much difference between a Sith and a Jedi.
Right, that it's
Anakin's
more about...
like, huge difference.
Yeah.
They're driven by passion. They make decisions for themselves. Don't you think it's interesting? The ultimate point he's making is, the Sith are you know, acting in self-preservation, and the Jedi care about the world at large, the galaxy at large.
Yeah.
But the first word he uses to describe that divide is the Sith are driven by passion, as if emotion is a bad thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't say vengeance.
No, but you're absolutely right. But that is in keeping with the logic of these movies and
No,
the
the
logic
logic
of the
of
way
these
the
movies-
Jedis behave.
And beyond that, the logic of how these films were made.
Yeah, that's true.
That George was like,
The passion is a
this
problem.
scene is too emotional. We got to reshoot it, right?
Yeah,
I find that very fascinating. So, all right, it's presenting this like thing, but it's being kind of seductive. I forget exactly what comes up, but you know, he goes, "Let me ask you a question. Has any Jedi been able to cheat death? Whatever,
Yeah.
you know, it comes
No,
up.
he
having
asked the
dreams,
question,
whatever,
and he's like one guy.
yeah. Have you ever heard about Darth Plagueis?
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
He's like, no, and he's like, I bet the Jedi wouldn't tell you. Here's the basic deal. Darth Plagueis was the most powerful ever. He was Sith as shit, right? Like
Crazy Sith.
through and through. He became so addicted to power that he could do almost anything. He could protect the ones he loved from death.
Mm-hmm.
Some believed he could even
Yeah.
use the Force via midichlorians to create life.
Right. Right. Are you saying,
Handbrake.
you saying he maybe created Anakin?
Anakin's the Immaculate Conception?
Hey, I don't know.
I don't know where he came from. Now, we always like to say that Watto was his dad because his little boy Pee-Pee looks like a Watto nose. But let's be honest for a second.
You mostly like to say that.
I like to say that, and we also... I'm going to flip some cards over on the table. We don't know that for a fact.
We don't. It's
We
true.
don't know what
You've been
Anakin's Pee-Pee
speculating.
looks like.
No.
We've been...
Thank God.
We've been joking.
What a terrible thing if we did.
Yeah. We would never be able to get over it. We're not those types of guys.
Carry on.
Who
Carry
like
on.
to look at little
Carry
boys'
on.
Pee-Pees. I just want to say that very clearly. And if we were, it
on.
would just be for the purpose of figuring out who's a Toydarian and who's not. That's all we're saying. We wouldn't be getting any pleasure from it. We would just want to know who is part.
Griffin, I
Toy-
hate this bit.
I'm
Carry on.
Griffin Newman. Welcome to Griffin and David Present Revenge of the Podcast.
Power!
Yep.
He just says the word.
Power!
He zaps him a lot. I think he might say like power, absolute power. I
Yeah.
think he,
And
keeps
he
talking.
zaps Windu, and Windu falls out the window.
Yes, the Jedi tried to kill me, but we will have a galactic empire.
Why do you have the body language of Mr. Burns now? Like, why
It's
are
crazy.
you literally putting on a fake mustache at the end of every sentence just to twirl it?
Before that, he was kind of this like, oh, I am Chancellor, this old wizard man. This burden is, does not suit, but I will
I'm
accept.
going to be paying much attention to you, and then
I'm the
Galactic.
Chancellor Palpatine.
He's having a lot of fun with it.
it's the only interesting arc throughout the three films.
No!
But it's the only interesting arc. But it makes you wish that Episode 1 was him training under Plagueis,
No!
right? Don't
Yeah,
you wish?
sure. What? Fine, yeah.
And
have
then Episode
Plagueis.
2 was them
But he's
finding
the
Anakin.
Phantom Menace.
I know.
Well, anyway.
But that's just my guesswork.
Anyway.
But anyway, hi, this is Griffin. Welcome to Griffin David Present Revenge of the Podcast.
I hate that bit. I officially hate it.
Ben cut out everything
We've ever
from
done.
here on out, and the episode at the last part where David said that he hates it.
Yeah, and also delete all former episodes.
Yeah,
All right. Got it.
Erase them. Scrub them.
scrub.
So, Phantom Menace.
Do it.
Moment of silence for the Jedi Order,
Single tier.
just to start out. Let's
Yep.
take one moment of silence. Hello, welcome to Revenge of the Podcast. I'm Griffin.
That was awful, Griffin. That was so loud. You just totally peeked out.
I had to cut the moment of silence with some energy. I didn't want the episode to be a bummer.
All right,
We're going to talk about some sad
You're
stuff.
right, you're
but
right.
Come on, Ben. That's producer Ben, of course, a.k.a. Purduer Ben, a.k.a.
He's getting the intro before I
the
get
Ben
the intro.
Deucer. He cut in.
He cut in.
Because he yelled in the microphone.
He did.
Because
Look
I
at-
want to cut the silence.
You're doing it again. I'm watching your levels
Okay,
right
I'm
now.
going to talk very quietly now. Hi, this is Griffin.
This is David Sims. Welcome to Revenge of the Podcast.
Part of the storied Griffin and David Present franchise.
Yep.
The rude interruption of my emotional oscillation was from producer Ben, a.k.a. Purduer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. the Haas, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. Hello Fennel.
Oh my God! Fuck this movie.
Yep.
Seriously, I didn't rewatch it since the last time I watched it. But
Good.
just on the way over here, thinking about talking about it again, it's just so painful.
What is this? How many have we done now?
This is
the
4 out of
sixth?
10.
No, it's not 4. It's not 4.
Yes, it is.
Are you serious?
Yep. Uh-huh,
Wait, wait, wait.
100%.
No, it's 5.
It's 4.
No, it's 4.
This is 4.
Oh my
That
God.
outburst of anger. This is a new.
I literally
new
thought
speed.
this was the 6th episode we've done on this.
No,
stupid
this
movie.
is 4 out of 10.
We do 10 episodes.
Okay.
On each movie.
Oh no!
I'm talking to our guest.
That I don't
Oh my
know
God.
is coming from our wonderful guest, the great Mike Drucker.
Hello.
Mike Drucker.
So we're talking about the Jedi Order today.
Right,
Today we're
okay.
talking about the Jedi Order.
Okay, of course.
We've done an episode on Anakin.
Okay.
We've talked about Palpatine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to talk about how the rest of the Jedis are functioning in this movie and
Not
how
well.
not well at all.
Not well.
Really, everything they've been doing wrong comes back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
For 3 movies.
Yeah.
For 3 movies, we've been getting warnings like, hey, turns out they're Sith Lords. out
Yeah.
there, right?
Mhm.
Well, maybe we
It's
keep
been
an eye
hinted
on
at
that.
pretty heavily.
Let's keep an eye on that. Oh, hey, like someone in the Jedi Order ordered a clone army without us noticing that. That's weird. Aren't we psychic?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be on this?
Yeah.
The third movie, like, oh yeah, the whole clone army, they're genetically programmed to kill us. We missed this.
Well, what I hate is you see the first movie and you have 2 Jedis that are just fighting incredibly well against one guy, obviously. But then the more Jedi you add to every movie, the worse they are. To the third movie where they Order 66 and they're just shot.
Yeah, they just get shot.
They just
Yeah.
get shot. Like, one
In
lady
the
doesn't
back.
even turn around. Like, she definitely senses shit, but she doesn't turn around. Can I say shit?
Yeah, you can say anything you
okay.
want.
Say whatever
Yeah.
you
I
want.
don't know if this is Hasbro pays for this.
Oh,
Yeah, Hasbro
only.
does pay for this, but you can say whatever you want. Second, no, I mean, I should
Griffin
say
has paid Hasbro for
I
this.
paid Hasbro. You can say whatever you want, but
Okay.
just advance notice, just because you're a comedian,
Right,
you're a
right.
comedic writer,
Of
and I
course.
understand I come from the same world. This isn't No Bits podcast. We should
No
make it
bits.
very clear.
Oh, God,
no
we hate
bits.
bits.
We
I'm
don't
not-
believe
I
in
have
bits.
no bits.
We
We
want to talk. This is a serious film criticism podcast. We want to talk openly about the films we're discussing
Right.
with no sort of overarching bits.
Oh,
Mike,
Okay,
don't
no
give me
bits.
more work. I don't want to have to do any editing in post. Okay.
Right, exactly.
No
So-
bits.
Mike,
Yeah.
just so you can feel safe in this environment,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
aren't already, Sith Lords are not allowed to listen to this podcast.
This is a thing Griffin's been doing recently.
No,
I'm only
because
half
I
on
don't
board
want
with it.
people rating us fucking 0 stars.
I mean, wouldn't it only be 2 ratings?
That's
of
true.
0
There's
stars?
only a master and an apprentice.
we got 1-1-star rating so far.
Okay, so but who was it?
Yeah.
I don't want
The
that
master
second
and the
shoe to
master
drop.
or the
is the
apprentice?
point. I don't know.
But which
I don't
one
know.
was it?
Well, here's what you
And
do.
this is what I'm saying. That's in episode 1, that exchange of dialogue. Yoda and Mace Windu. Oh, look, seems like it was a Sith Lord. Which was it, the Master and the Apprentice? I don't know. Let's do no work on this. Let's just
It's
not do work
probably
on
okay.
The way to figure out whether it's the master or the apprentice is look up the age of the person who commented. And if they are 90 years old, then they are the apprentice.
Yeah, you're talking Count Dooku.
Yeah, because you got to get
Then
some
they're a
young
real
buck
count.
apprentices. I tweeted out as a joke that we weren't recording because I was filming the new Colin Trevorrow movie.
Yeah. yeah.
A lot of people took that seriously.
Well, congratulations, then.
Thank you. I just want to clearly state I would never work for Colin Trevorrow, and I have no hesitation saying that publicly because I doubt that Colin Trevorrow will ever
He'll never
make a
book a
film
movie.
that I want to be in.
He'll
I will
never
say
book
that.
one.
I don't mind what bridges I burn publicly. Colin Trevorrow will never direct a film that I have any interest in being part of the cast.
As we said, no bits. And
No bits.
yeah, a sort of sub-theme in this podcast is Griffin just ruining his career.
I'm ruining my
Just
burning it to the ground.
Straight just
I have
shit.
no allies anymore. Obi-Wan follows the lead to the planet where
What the hell is the planet called, actually, where he's hanging out?
I don't know.
It's
It's
sort of the jungle planet, but it's like
Oh.
it's like a big hole, right? Like the whole planet, the whole city, it's like someone drilled a big hole in the ground, and it's sort of like
Not-
there's like a a Guggenheim level, like where there's all these sort of spiraling sub-levels.
Not Kashyyyk.
No.
No.
Is it Utapau?
It might be something like that.
We're all bummed out just saying these names.
Tion Medon. We're bummed out that we know these
what?
names.
What?
Tion Medon.
Who's that?
Who is the tall dude with the slits on his face and the sharp teeth?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with the sort of high collar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's played by Bruce Spence.
This guy.
Yeah.
Bruce Spence, who is the gyrocopter pilot in The Road Warrior. Who's like a fucking awesome...
I think you expect us to go, what? Holy cow!
No, he's like a cool fucking Australian.
Well, because this movie was shot in Australia.
Yeah.
He's a cool fucking actor. He was the mouth of Sauron in Return of the King.
Sure, yeah.
He was one of the side sharks in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, you were right. It was Utapau.
Hey.
Utapau.
Hey now.
Utapau?
How long did George spend on that name?
Sometimes I'm not trying to be childish here. I'm trying to grow up on this podcast. But sometimes I really do think that George just recorded the sounds of himself pooping and then named things after the sounds that the poop made when it hit the water.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah. Most words in this universe sound like diarrhea sounds.
How many Y's are in the name Kashyyyk? All the Y's. Just put all the Y's you got in there.
Yeah, if there were a vowel, just make it a Y. That's sort of the rule with,
He goes to Tion Medon and he's like, hey, I'm looking for Grievous. And Tion Medon's like, no Grievous here. And he's like, because there's this war going on. He's like, nope, no war here, no Grievous. Don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, do you mind if I use the bathroom quickly? And Tion Medon's like, sure, use the bathroom. Hold on, I just have one thing to tell you. There's a ton of war going on here. Grievous is right here.
Grievous is literally downstairs.
Right. But he like leans in and speaks in a quieter voice, but not that quiet a voice.
Yeah.
Where like, I don't understand how anyone who is spying on him, because then they cut to the balcony, and there's like a balcony that's like maybe 100 feet away where one of Grievous's like Magna Guards is spying on them. And it's like, oh, he didn't raise any suspicion when Obi-Wan was there.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know. It's stupid.
Whatever. Dumb. So he's like, you gotta.
Yeah.
Grievous is here.
Kill General Grievous.
Please kill General Grievous.
He is in room A14.
He's in conference room A14.
He is here. Yeah. Anyway,
he's giving a lecture.
Am I right? This planet's like the Guggenheim.
This
It's
planet's
like
like a
it's like a
Guggenheim.
weird tube in the ground.
Yeah.
I also think for a series of films that are hyper titled Star Wars, I don't think Georgie Porgy understands what a war is. Because like anytime a war is brought up in this movie, he's like, no, there's a ton of war on this planet. And you see the planet, it just looks like a museum. There's like no battle happening.
Well, the other thing is the movie's called Star Wars, and they were like, oh shit, we're at the Clone Wars at the end of Attack of the Clones, right? All right, this is gonna be awesome. We're gonna see all this war, and then we cut to like 10 years later. It's like, well, the war's over.
We just finished the war.
Yep. War
And with
finished.
that,
Yeah. And the way the war breaks out at the end of Attack of the Clones is like if they called in cops to mediate a boxing match that got out of hand, and then it turned into a war.
Yeah.
Like they send in the clones because there's a bad arena battle happening, and then within 13 seconds, it's a full-on war.
Yeah, within 13 seconds, people being loaded into ships.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character?
Tion
We're on the
Medon
longest.
goes, hey, you want to help find Grievous? Jump on that thing right there. And it is Boga!
Yeah, he's a dactyl, a veridactyl.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was a dactyl. I've been misspeaking for the last couple of weeks. It's a veradactyl from Utapau.
It looks like an iguana, right?
Yes.
It's a big iguana.
It's a big iguana.
It's a big iguana.
Obi-Wan rides it around in some of the worst, most spectacularly bad CGI. Right?
And it's also like, it just feels like they're like, oh, we could do this, so let's make the scene with no real purpose to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, should Obi-Wan just walk over there? Nah, let's get an iguana. Yeah.
What if he rode a giant lizard? And everyone's like, sure, George.
There might as well be people like carrying plate glass and like that he could smash through it. Like, I mean, it's that sort of like unnecessarily silly.
It also feels like the movie was made with less enthusiasm. The movies were made increasingly less enthusiasm. Like, 1 is weird but fun.
Yeah.
2 is terrible but trying to do interesting things.
Yeah.
And then this one's just like, I don't know, what
It
a
all
lizard.
turns bad.
Like at least in 2 you had like a wacky bounty hunter.
Yeah.
You had like that fat dude who owned a diner.
Dexter Jester. Part 2 of My Holy Trinity.
Yeah, you're hitting all of Griffin's favorites.
Yeah, we see
Let's
very
see if you can
similar.
get the third guy in Attack of the Clones. I don't remember who it
I'm
is.
trying to remember who it is.
Who's
Oh, it's the returning character from Phantom Menace.
Oh, Watto?
Yeah.
Watto again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Watto plus hat.
Annie?
Yeah, my holy trinity from Phantom Menace is
It's too bad Watto's not
Watto,
in this one.
Boss Nass, and Tarbles.
That's who you like in this one?
No, in Phantom Menace, that was my holy trinity, right? Watto, Boss Nass, and Tarbles.
Well,
Yeah.
but then there was TC-14.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi. Oh, yeah, I love TC-14.
Yeah, oh my
That
God,
proto-
Mike! How do we not get you on here soon?
Yeah, Mike, you really should have been on this podcast from the beginning.
We
Oh,
are
man.
birds of a feather.
Yeah.
Well, I just read Boga's entire Wikipedia entry, and there's nothing of interest in there. But because you had said maybe that's your favorite character, and I said I don't think because I don't think it's a defined character. I think it's just part of a species.
Has a name, though.
Boga, and it's female, and she's the fastest on the planet. And that's all they have to say about her. The other thing it says is that Obi-Wan leaves her for dead because he assumes that she dies, but she doesn't. She goes on to live a long life.
She falls.
Yeah, but
Quite
she
a-
survives
quite
the
a
fall.
ways.
It
Wait,
says.
she goes on to live a long life? Like,
Yeah.
Does she have kids or?
Yeah.
Probably some iguana babies.
Yeah,
she
that's
has
great.
she has 10 husbands.
10
She has
other
10
kids.
husbands, 30 children, but none of them replace the part of her heart that
course.
Obi-Wan held.
Does Obi-Wan just kind of randomly jump on her, or is she like given to him? I can't
I
remember.
think Tiaminon's like, go, jump on Boga.
We have this lizard.
Yeah.
You know,
She's the
like,
fastest on the planet.
I know it's a big imposition to ask you to kill General Grievous, but maybe if you jumped on this iguana,
Let's sweeten the deal.
You can ride my lizard. You don't even have to give it back. It's cool.
let it fall as far as you want.
These things cost
It'll live a
nothing
long
to
life.
raise.
This is my favorite section of the movie.
I don't know why.
I'll tell you why.
Although I can't name another section that I really prefer.
Yeah, I
so.
have
Yeah.
no favorite section
Yeah.
of this one.
No, this is why, and I liked it. I'll say a lot less this time than the first time.
Sure.
Rewatching it. Now this fourth rewatch or whatever it is, but it's my favorite section of the movie because it's fucking silly.
It is very silly.
It's very silly.
And Ewan McGregor is playing it up.
Yeah.
He's having some fun.
He's doing
Yes.
like a sort of Errol Flynn, old timey
Yeah.
swashbuckler,
Yeah.
like really broad. And the rest of this movie is so laden and like fucking just self serious and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like we've
Except
talked
for the opera house scene.
except for the opera house scene.
Oh, yeah.
We've
Which
talked about
we enjoy.
how fucking funny Phantom Menace is and how much we're missing those wall-to-wall laughs in this movie. I don't need comedy, but if you're doing a movie that's set in space, why not? And everything's CGI and you can create anything you want.
Yeah.
Why not have a fucking dude on a lizard chasing a coughing robot on a one-wheeled bike?
Because it's too much stuff.
No,
it's
just
it's
no.
so much stuff.
It's too
I'm
much
saying
stuff.
maybe he should have that much stuff.
No.
Organa is like, why don't you go to Tatooine where Anakin's relatives live? And by Anakin's relatives, he means
His only living relative.
His stepbrother and his wife.
right. So
Right.
it's his stepbrother and wife.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird place
Through-
to drop off someone's kid.
Through the stepfather he met only after
One time. Yeah.
One time.
his mother had been kidnapped from the father. Like he
Yeah,
met
yeah.
her. He didn't even
Yeah.
see them
Yeah.
together
It's
as a
basically
family unit.
The second owner of his mother who then married her.
Right.
Yeah.
His kid.
Although maybe that's a great place to snatch like a baby to be like, all right, who would you never go to see? Oh, your stepbrother you met once.
A lot of bad memories over there.
You're
That is
never
not a
going
fun
back.
place.
Not bad memories, but like, who gives a shit? Like, You don't
Exactly.
gotta keep up.
It is
with
kind
it.
of fun to imagine just like robot Darth Vader showing up and being like, hi, like, you know, like getting dinner with them and being like, so how
Yeah.
are things
How's
at the moisture
business,
farm?
man?
Yeah, it's crazy. We didn't even recognize you. You look so different than
You
the last
look
time we
crazy
saw you.
different. Has anyone told you this?
You're unrecognizable.
I went through a thing on Mustafar.
Oh, it was real bad.
It was
bad
real
week.
bad. Trust
Yeah.
me, you do not want me to take this mask off. All right, not at dinner. This is delicious, Baru.
It's a Brew is a good chef. But yeah, Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine, and Yoda goes somewhere. He
Yeah.
just
He
goes off.
leaves.
He just leaves.
I'll
He gets
hide.
in a ship and leaves.
I'll hide. But they have one final conversation. It's not then. I think it's a little before
I
when they're
really
traveling.
wanted to get to this because it's hysterical.
This is an important conversation.
Yeah, it's literally they're like, okay, so what happened today? We didn't kill any of our enemies. Palpatine took over the galaxy. All the Jedis were exterminated.
That kid you were training was
the kid you were training
instrumental.
has turned into a homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot to tell you.
One crazy thing that came up today.
Remember Qui-Gon?
But he
remember
literally
that guy?
pitches it like, do you remember that guy who was your master?
You remember Qui-Gon Jinn?
He says it like
got
Obi-Wan might
in
not remember.
touch. Like, I recently heard from him. I can't believe I didn't tell you
And
this.
Obi-Wan's like, oh, God, he's going senile. Qui-Gon's dead. He doesn't remember. It's like when your grandma calls out for the daughter who died 10 years earlier.
Qui-Gon figured out how to, I don't know, turn into a spirit or something.
He says he figured out how to transcend death by becoming part of the Force or something like that.
Good news, right?
I got you a workbook that you like. Just I want you to look at it while you're in hiding.
You're gonna have a lot of free time, so
Yeah, you know what I really dislike about how they deal with Anakin? They constantly go like, Anakin, I think you're really angry. Like, they don't go like, we're the Jedis. We're these wise people of presumably, you know, selflessness and hopefully empathy.
and control.
Right? To go like, Anakin has anger problems. Let's try to talk to him and be like, hey, Anakin, are you doing all right?
Yeah.
And so they just keep on like...
Then maybe he'd say like, well, I fell in love with Queen Amidala.
And then we're like, what?
Whoa! No. That's bad.
We
That's
got
bad.
rules here, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were like a little kid and your parents would go like, somebody's tired, and you go like, I'm not tired.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you didn't want people telling you what you were.
Yeah.
Even
That's
though you
how
were
they
tired.
deal with Anakin throughout all 3 movies.
Yeah, but
they just go like, somebody's angry, and he's like, I'm not angry.
Yeah.
And it's like, just talk to him about what's going on in his life. Massage these issues.
I mean, it just seems like they don't. There's a lot of red flags.
Oh,
throughout
yes.
the movies.
Hell of a lot of red flags.
Hell of a lot of red flags, yeah.
And also the Sith. Like, let's not forget. They unveil themselves in episode 1.
Oh yeah.
They literally give them every opportunity, like, figure out who we are. We keep showing up.
Yeah.
They have 3 movies to do it. They don't do it.
Yeah.
Anakin figures it out and gets tempted to the dark side.
Also, this is over the course of like, I'd assume 20-something years.
It's a long time.
You know, like, and they're like, the Sith are back. They're like, it's. I mean, fine. We killed one of them. That's it. There's so many frustrating things about
we
this
killed
series.
one of them. There's only one Sith, right? Or is it 2? I don't know.
Usually 2. But
I always
we're probably
forget if it's
fine.
1 or 2.
Yeah, we should check the Jedi archives sometime.
Oh, our power to sense the Force has been diminished.
Also,
They
Whatever.
say that all the time.
Yeah.
They keep saying their powers are diminished.
also, all the files in their Jedi archives have been deleted.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
And there's this clone army that a Jedi ordered.
Let's not look into it.
Also, it's weird. The Chancellor's like not leaving office. He just keeps staying around. And everything kind of conspires to like keep him in office.
He keeps on creating new positions and then electing himself to them. It's
that
weird.
seems bad.
Yeah.
You can't sense anything about him in the Force, so it's probably okay.
Right,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
probably a good guy.
I gave him a once over. He's fine.
They're like airport security, where they're like, hey, if you don't have any like dark side water bottles, all right, you're in. And then like you find out someone just brought a bomb onto the plane.
Right.
They pat him down once with the back of their hands.
Right.
And then
They're like, you're cool.
you're clean.
He literally decorates his whole office red.
Yeah.
His whole office is red.
And black.
Yeah, red and black.
yeah.
And he writes Sith in the carpet.
He's also always asking a young Padawan to hang out with him, which, if not dark side, is still something to be questioned.
Check that
Seems
out.
like he has a taste for the younglings.
Can you let
if
this
will.
15-year-old kid hang out with me for a few hours? Nothing will happen.
It's it would be satisfying to have one of those endings where you realize that Yoda was kind of a villain all along, and not
Right.
like a twisty mustache
Yeah,
twirly
sure,
like
yeah.
I was working the gears, but it's like through
The
negligence.
fool on the hill.
He was as bad a force as those who were deliberately evil.
Pun intended.
And to see him get a lightsaber through the brain might have been nice. And why not? This is the last movie. What are you saving, George? Why let him go off and have a nice life in seclusion? Why?
I don't know.
David's holding his hands
Maybe he
up.
wanted to make a 4th movie.
I mean,
Padme has 2 kids.
A Force movement.
yeah, no,
All right.
Mike,
I'm
Mike,
gonna-
yes, Mike, yes.
Mike, yes. Mike,
Mike,
yes.
yes.
Mike, yes. Hashtag Mike,
Mike,
yes.
yes.
Please tweet at Mike. Hashtag Mike, yes.
Yeah, please.
No, I mean, we've talked about this. I don't know if you know this, Mike,
Yeah.
but George Lucas did sell Lucasfilm to Disney recently. I think
did,
mostly
yeah.
because they wanted the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yeah.
Right.
And the remake rights to Tucker, A Man in His Dreams.
Yeah, and Strange Magic.
Yeah, Strange Magic, Willow. There are a lot of good things.
Yeah,
in
they
that.
wanted to make those, the Monkey Island games again or something. Yeah.
They were able to work Howard the Duck back into Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true.
Good.
Yeah. Radioland Murders, of course, would work very well as a TV series. Anyway,
Please, just keep naming Lucasfilm properties.
I think there may be 2 more.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Yeah. If he had wanted to make a 4th film, I think he would have done it. What was stopping him? Lack of finances?
Age?
Lack of confidence?
Or maybe just
Maybe.
burnout from doing 3 in a row, but
He
you
did
still want
do-
to make...
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to
but-
do other stuff.
but
he
he's-
produced Red Tails.
He did produce Red Tails.
Oh, yeah.
He sold the company to Disney.
Right.
And, we've been saying, I mean, they are sitting on, despite how hated these movies are, what was a very successful trilogy of films.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Disney's very property-minded, franchise-minded. It would not be out of this realm to assume that someday Disney would try to do an episode 4.
Yeah.
Do you think they try to fucking work Yoda back into it? I mean,
hey, sure, why not? Frank Oz is still available.
As a villain? As what? What has he become
good.
now?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Yoda turns evil.
But does he fight Obi-Wan, or is there you have those babies, but
Maybe he tries to kill the babies?
You think Yoda tries to kill the babies?
Probably. That's where I would
or
take
steal
it.
them to raise them himself.
I'm
maybe?
just saying.
But then again, he also hid them. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you brought me into a pitch meeting and were like, a 4th Star Wars movie, what would you do? I'd be like, okay, Yoda's creeping into a child's bedroom. Lightsaber brandish. This is the opening scene in the movie. And then Obi-Wan chops him in 2.
That's opening scene is Obi-Wan kills Yoda.
Bisects him.
Okay.
So now Obi-Wan's standing with a bisected Yoda over 2 babies.
Yeah, sure. No, they
Okay.
get split up.
What's scene 2?
I don't know. We have 2.5 hours after that.
Cut 2, 20 minutes later. I don't know.
20 minutes later.
So let's just briefly, say our respects for Adigalia,
Yadi Mundi.
Plo Koon,
Yeah, he bites it.
Yep. Kit Fisto.
Oh, Kit Fisto.
Who's the little guy? The little guy with the sort of droopy ears.
Oh, I forget.
Oh, yeah, I forget who that is.
Uriel Poof.
No, he dies between episodes 2 and 3 or something.
Really, just like
I was
old
reading
age?
his Wikipedia. No, he dies tragic. Like Dooku
Really?
chops him into pieces or something. It's crazy. There's a comic book about it.
Wow.
We liked Ariel Poof. He's the one with the kind of long stalk head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Q-tip.
Yeah. His race is that he's a queer man.
And his last name is Poof. So.
Good job, George Lucas.
Yep, that's what we said.
R.I.P. Yaddle, we suppose.
Yeah, a lot of these characters died off screen, but yeah, we lost a lot of good ones. Agent
Evan
Kolar.
Peel.
Evan Peel.
Yeah.
Agent Kolar.
Yeah, all these just great characters.
Bruce
They,
Sophie.
don't even know who
Some of our best friends. Some of the most beloved characters in the history of pop culture, all gone. We have a very special guest with us here today.
Mm-hmm.
David, would you like to introduce her? Because you, and I'm not angry about this,
You shouldn't be.
have podcasted with her in the past.
Yeah, but she was the original podcast.
I'm not
you're,
jealous.
You're the cheap.
I'm not jealous.
You're the other woman.
I'm not jealous.
This is Sonia Soraya.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Who I do a podcast with called Night Cheese.
Hi. Yeah, it's fun. We should eat cheese actually on this podcast.
We should have got. Well, I did just have a chicken parm flatbread from PAX Wholesome Foods.
Is that really what you want to put on the line right now?
Look, that's what they had, and that's what I got. What did you have?
I had a crispy chicken club
All
that
right.
had cheese on it as well.
Sonia's the TV critic for Salon.com.
Yes, and Griffin, you are the other woman.
Oh, well.
I actually
did cheat on Sonia
when
with you.
when you guys first started talking about the podcast on Twitter, I did yell at you both about starting this.
I know.
me.
I
Yeah.
know.
I just want that
We
to be
got
clear.
you on.
No, I appreciate it. Obviously, whatever. This is a threesome, literally, right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's not let Ben. Ben can have
Yeah,
some
of
fun.
course.
He can watch.
Ben's watching.
Ben's in the corner.
Yeah, of course, we have with us, as always, producer Ben, a.k.a. Purduer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. the Haas, a.k.a. Hello Fennel, a.k.a. Peeping Tom.
Hey, he's
All
got
right,
a
a
He's
nickname.
got a new
New
nickname because he's
nickname.
going to watch while we all boon.
By the way, I think it's also interesting that they don't have sonograms in this universe.
Yeah, no one knew.
No one knows that she has twins. Look, it's
understand how this
inexplicable
happens.
because it's not a twist in the movie
Yeah.
when she has 2 babies.
Yeah.
Like it plays no plot point, but for some reason they decide to reveal it then. Like
Yes.
I don't know why. Like they could have just said like I'm pregnant, Annie, with twins.
Well,
Congrats. Twins.
Well,
I guess it's so Anakin doesn't know there's
it's
a
so
sister
Anakin doesn't
or
know.
a brother.
But I mean, these are obviously the only 3 films that he's ever made, so it doesn't matter. But you know,
It's very
I
annoying.
don't understand why you keep on restating things. Our listenership is not stupid, Sonia. You can just...
Look, we don't like bits on this podcast.
We know how
No
many movies
bits,
there are.
okay?
Look, I just want to make this clear.
We have a
I'm
very
anti-bit.
erudite listenership.
Yeah,
They are
we do.
well educated.
Oh, can I read some listener
Oh,
reviews?
sidebar. I'm sorry, Sonia, to cut you off, but it's very important we do some housekeeping
I'm
every
cutting
episode.
you off to read some listener reviews.
It's very important we do some housekeeping because rating us, reviewing us,
Please.
subscribing to our cousin podcast on the UCB Comedy Network.
We have 42 reviews now. Don't you want to bump us up to 50?
Well, I don't know, 42 Jackie Robinson. Maybe that's the right number.
It's a good number.
Maybe we go one above. We
Noted
become
baseball fan
problematic.
Griffin Newman.
Yep.
Okay.
No one mentioned Hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers? Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Of course, 42.
Oh.
The life, the universe, and everything.
So everyone, please keep rating, but don't review anymore because we found the perfect number of reviews.
No,
Don't say that. No, keep.
No.
Please review.
Don't-
Please
No.
review.
Don't listen to him.
Don't
wait,
review us.
Keep reviewing.
Do not.
Please.
I want to. So I just want to say some things. Read out some reviews. We've got a review from Ramona Castle. Have you read this one?
I think this is our friend Ramona.
Perhaps. There's a heart is the title.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Griffin and David. I love you both, even though every episode of this belies it. You're both perfect gentlemen. 5 stars. Wow. Now, how about this one from Conrado Falco? Did you read this one? This one's really
I'm looking
good.
at this one right
Why
now.
do you read that aloud?
Mozart, Tolstoy, Picasso, Griffin and David. P.S. Producer Ben is also a genius. That's the full review.
All right.
That's the full review.
All right, and here from Monkey Shines. Hello, Fennel, he says. Though I am dismayed, nay furious at the fact that there's no new episode this week. That was last week or 2 weeks ago. When is this episode coming out?
We're recording
while
2
back.
at once. Yeah.
I've decided to give this a 5-star rating because only David and Griffin could piss me off this much. The Ben Deucer is just charming and never rankles me.
Oh,
There you go,
Oh,
Ben.
Thanks.
All right, that's enough
Thanks,
reviews.
Monkey
I got one
Shines.
more I want to read. I got one
Ah.
more I want to read. This is the last one. 5-star review. The subject heading is delightful. Love the podcast, but if I have it my way, you will never work in show business again, Griffin. And that review is from Colin Trevorrow.
You're an asshole, Colin. What if it was from Colin Trevorrow?
I mean, who knows?
What if
Maybe
Colin
that's his
Trevorrow
iTunes account.
Was so was so obsessed with himself that he even heard our podcast dissing him. We don't like Colin Trevorrow. Do you know the director of Jurassic World?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
a bummer, and
Yeah.
he should be kicked in the penis.
Didn't he say some dumb shit about women?
He did.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
This is,
yes.
This is like what I know him
He gave
for.
one of those answers where it's like, look, of course I think more women should direct movies. But they don't want to, and there's not enough women, and where are
said-
the women anyway?
yeah,
And
he
like,
essentially
he said
said, like-
8 things that suck.
He said, "Listen, sweetie, the thing you don't understand is that
We are going to get sued.
women don't want to do big budget movies. That's not what they're interested
I
in."
have no interest in doing big budget movies myself.
No,
Yeah.
no one does.
Just why I'm here talking about Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's
no.
why.
No, there's a reason it's a white man's game because only white men like them. Only white men like being successful. That's why.
Fucking true.
Throughout history, only white men have succeeded.
I hate Colin.
It's because they're the only ones that want to.
Why did
No one
Other
else
people
wanted
like
it hard
failing.
enough.
It's
true.
weird.
It's true. It's
Uh,
true.
So,
Listenership, please rate, review, subscribe, and kick Colin Trevorrow in his wiener. That's now end of housekeeping segment.
Yep.
It would be great if we
I've
could
never
talk to
seen-
George Lucas. Could you imagine
hey,
if we
George,
got
you
to
want to be
sit
on the
down
show?
with him?
Email us. I'm davidlsims@gmail.com.
Let's start us out. Griffin and David present at gmail.com. George Lucas, if you're interested, we've been ragging on you a lot. If you want to come on and defend yourself, we would happily have you on an episode.
Yeah.
Just keep that out there.
If he is on the show, can you please ask him if his nickname has ever been Georgie Porch?
Georgie Porch.
Yeah, Georgie Porch.
Yeah, that's his nickname on this one.
Let's talk
bits.
about the actual Let's talk about the actual death. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the
You
cause
really
of
want to
death.
talk
This
about
is
Oh,
a
it.
yeah.
big thing.
Yeah, no,
Griffins
it's-
really
to
hung
talk
up on
about.
this.
It's shitty.
It is shitty. It is shitty.
shitty.
So, when Anakin
Okay.
reveals to her, all her suspicions are correct, right?
Yeah, he's been murdering children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's working for the dark side.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
exterminated a bunch of Jedi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She goes like, Anakin, what are you talking about? How do you, Anakin? I don't.
And she does. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She manifests the first rejection of, like, the first, like, oh wait, I'm a person that isn't in love with, like, that isn't totally just this person's, like,
Yes.
lackey. Yeah.
Yes, she gets a little disillusioned, and I appreciate your apology because I was really connected emotionally to that performance, and it's gonna take me another second to get back into it. You made a good point, Sonia, and I'm glad you did, but I just hold
No
on.
bits. Come on.
The train was running. Okay, she goes, Anakin, I don't.
She has a line I think that you're trying
You're
to get
breaking
to.
my heart,
There
Anakin.
it is. There it is. Yeah.
Now it's this very, very earnest. I actually kind of like the way she delivers it.
She's a pretty good actress.
Right? I think given that line
She's
on
bad
the
in
page,
the movie, but she's pretty good.
yes.
Yeah.
But I think given that line on the page, having to deliver that line, I think she makes a kind of interesting choice, which is to really deliver it as like a girl
Yeah.
caught up in a romantic fantasy that's now crumbling around her.
Yes.
She had this very simple idea of like wanting to be together and be happy with him.
Yes.
And she's now reduced to like, breaking my heart is like this very childlike notion of like, literally a heart being broken in twain or whatever. She says that. He chokes her. Obi-Wan says stop.
Yeah.
Right?
God.
She's lying there perfectly. She's in a perfect
Yeah, she
Yeah,
falls
she
to
is. She's
just-
like
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
perfect.
But it's like literally when they cut to her on the ground, her arms are still held out as if she was bracing the fall.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan takes her back on the ship, brings her to Bail Organa's place. He has the droid with the clasped hands.
Wait, does Obi-Wan take her back on the ship? I want to say C-3PO and R2 do. Is this a crazy thing?
No,
All right.
they-
Obi-Wan's on the ship with them, definitely, but it might
no.
be C-3PO and R2-D2 physically take
Right,
her.
because
Yeah,
she's
Obi-Wan
there.
then fights
Obi-Wan
Anakin.
checks her
Yeah,
pulse
yes,
or something.
correct.
Then they go fight. And then they come back and they're both of the droids are like whistling a bunch. They're like, "Oh my god, something's happened. You got to do a
They
thing."
whistle away.
Da-da-da. And he's like, "Okay," and he like goes inside the ship.
Yeah, because
All
I
right.
think they get her to a hospital ship. It's not like
Yes.
their ship is a hospital ship, is
yeah,
it?
they have to fly her too. So and that's where Yoda and Bail Organa
Right,
are.
I think
Right.
that's on Bail Organa's planet.
Oh, yeah,
They
His
bring him to a
fantastic ship.
hospital.
on his ship.
Right,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
use his fantastic ship to get to his planet where the hospital is, I believe. It's hard to
It's
keep
on a
track
planet?
of this
No,
movie.
it's on a ship, bro.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I thought the thing with the crater...
This
I don't
honestly
know.
doesn't matter.
It's okay.
That's a good point.
Genuinely impossible to follow. But somehow she gets to a hospital,
Yes.
right? Far
Yep.
away from Anakin.
Yep.
In answer to your question, Sonia, I do like paralleling those two actions against each other. I wish for someone like George, who talks so much about trying to create like visual repetition,
Mm-hmm.
circular imagery throughout the films, they're constructed in very different ways. They're cutting back and forth between the two, and I think he could have, like, from a nerdy filmmaking perspective, really created like visual contrast
Yeah.
and similarities between the two things, whereas now it's just two actions being presented, shot in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But delivery room, the robot comes out. She hasn't given birth to even one of the babies yet,
This
right?
is true.
Yes.
And the robot comes out with his little clasped hands.
He's got kind of like sad face,
He's got some,
you know?
He looks a little bit like Wally.
Yeah, he has these
Actually.
droopy Wally
Yeah,
eyes. Yeah,
now that I
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it,
It would be
yeah.
funny though if he was a doctor and he had to like load like a frowny face emoji, you know, like. But then if he had good news, he would load like a happy, you know. Like,
I was gonna say, do you think they have a bad news robot and a good
yeah,
news robot?
they might. They have like a Patch Adams robot.
Yeah. The other one waves his arms around.
Oh God.
And he has big, goofy eyes, and
Oh,
this one
God.
has sad eyes, and he clasps his hands. But he goes, it's fascinating. Medically, she's in perfect condition. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is
Mhm.
really what
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said.
There's nothing we
Mhm.
can. This is really
Right.
wrong with her.
He goes, it's weird. Medically, she's in perfect condition, but yet we seem to be losing her.
Yes.
It's almost as if she has lost the will to live. She delivers 2 babies,
Yep.
which is a very taxing physical act.
Not easy. Although it seems easy, so maybe there's some technology.
Oh,
kinda
yeah,
just
they
pull 'em
use
out.
like the scoop arms
Yeah,
and a vacuum,
scooper
and just
just-
yeah, I like don't even know what's happening under that hood.
But
That
my,
is true.
my point is, within the world that we know, right? Perhaps not Georgie Porgy's Phantom Menace world, but within the world we know, it is very difficult to have a baby.
Yeah.
To physically deliver a baby.
It's a
And-
memorable day when it happens. I think it's usually you're like, this was quite a day.
Good or bad, you remember it.
Yeah.
Beyond
And
that,
2 in a row.
two in
Two in a row.
Two in a row.
Pretty big.
Not easy.
In olden times, and let's not forget that
There's a galaxy
Revenge
far,
of
far
the
away
Sith
a long time ago.
is a
It's
period piece.
fair,
It
yeah.
is a period
Good
film,
point.
right? In olden times, many women would not survive childbirth.
Sure.
And they would not go, I guess she just lost the will to live. They'd go, hey, guess what? Delivering babies is really tough. And if you're even slightly hobbled when you
Yeah,
start
well-
doing it, it might kill you. You
Why
might
don't
not
they?
make it.
Why doesn't
through.
the doctor say like, yeah, you know? Apparently, it seems like she has just been choked and assaulted by an extremely powerful Jedi. Did that happen recently? That would help explain all of this.
Did she?
No.
I mean, they're making dying of a broken heart.
Yeah, she
into,
died
like,
of a broken
real
heart.
thing.
That's
Right.
the
But
thing.
but your point is, like, from a story perspective, she is in a weakened physical state.
Yeah.
Right.
Did not know she had 2 babies within her, and now has to deliver both at the same time.
Yeah.
That might kill someone in her position, especially someone as slight as she is to begin with.
She's
right?
undernourished.
Right.
Clearly she'd never been to a gynecologist
No.
because she didn't know she had 2 babies
And it was in
inside her
secret.
the
Maybe
whole
that's
time.
because it was a secret pregnancy.
Yeah, that must be why. Good
Although
point.
she could have just bought this doctor, right? He's a robot. Just go to like Sears and get a doctor robot.
That's a really good point.
I want to say something about Bail Organa.
Please.
And I hate bits. I hate bits.
Are you gonna say Jimmy Smits?
No, I love Jimmy Smits.
Are you-
I hate
are you
bits.
just-
I love Jimmy Smits.
are
But
you-
hate bits. Love Smits.
Pro bits, anti Smiths.
Anyway.
No, fucking, I flipped it. Oh, fuck.
Oh no! Now we're pro bits. Oh no!
Anti bits, pro Smiths. Anti bits, pro Smiths.
Anyway, so this movie has a lot of CGI.
Correct.
Has a lot of crappy set design as a result.
I can't wait to hear what we're
It's
doing.
got pillars. There's that scene with the pillars. I've mentioned it so many times on this podcast, but when the pregnancy is announced, they're in this room that's just infinite pillars. It's just a copy paste of pillars. You know, like it's just there's some thing where you're like, well, come on, guys. Jimmy Smits drives a ship in it. He's got the Organa people have this ship,
Your Organa-mobile.
Jimmy Schmidt's.
Jimmy Schmidt ship, the Jimmy ship.
We're pro Schmidt. God damn it. Go on.
It is the greatest set they have had in any of these movies.
The ship itself.
Yes. It's got this like crazy like white interior. It's really minimal and simple. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about?
do,
You
yeah.
only see it for like 1 minute at the end of the movie.
Wait,
It's called like what the hell is the ship called?
but which one? I'm sorry, I don't even remember which one
Jimmy
it is.
Smith's ship. It's
Jimmy. If I search
it's
that.
Organa. What's
It's a huge ship. We're not talking like a little cruiser.
No,
We're
it's
talking
a big
huge
ship.
He's in.
Bail Organa spaceship interior. This is what's being Googled right now.
Do you guys not know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I do know
I
what
have
you're
no-
talking
I have no
about.
clue
I
what
do know
you're
what you're
talking
talking about. I'm going to try to find the scene where it happened. Here.
Tontive-
Heroes
Tontive
regroup.
4?
That's it. The Tontive 4.
Yeah.
we were watching it now.
Yeah, it's this thing.
Oh,
so
I
it's like
watched this.
the ship on the outside kind of looks
The
like a
Blockade
wiener.
Runner. That's what it's called.
It looks like
Yeah.
a wiener on the outside. We have to say it's long and it's got protruding top, and then like it's sort
It's
of
got wings.
it's got
It's got
no,
ball
it's not.
wings.
It's that
oh, it's
thing.
ball wings. Okay.
It's that thing.
Oh, got
It
it.
has like a
like a
bunch of
Oh,
circular
yeah.
engines.
It looks very
We
strange.
see inside this thing briefly. Are we going to see inside
Yes.
it now? And I
Is
see.
it this thing?
No. Here,
No.
watch. We're about
We're
to see
watching
it.
it.
I go. Who's this? Is this Obi-Wan docking with it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
no,
so.
but this is your
and
point.
that ship has a
Here's
nice
my-
interior too. I want to say.
I
liked
look
it.
at this interior. Look at
Oh,
this.
yeah,
it's a
that's
real
cool.
set.
This is really good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
And like it feels like a definable place.
Right.
Ugh.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I?
And it has the right aesthetic. A
Yes.
lot of the stuff on Coruscant doesn't feel right.
And there's one
Yeah.
other time the movie does this, and I hate bits. I hate them.
We don't like bits.
And it's at the end when Vader and Palpatine and some other guy are hanging out on an Imperial cruiser, and they're looking out at
Yeah.
the stars, at this thing being built, the killer planet, whatever it's called. That is also a great set.
Yes. Yes.
With his like corridor that he walks down, and there's all these people like working in the pit below him, and you sort of get the idea that like the Empire is sort of brushing away all the sort of like art, the gold and the lavish of the old era.
You're talking about the Killer Star.
Yeah, the
Death Planet.
killer star, Death Planet. Yeah, whatever.
I
it's
also
called.
hate bits. It doesn't even need
Hate
repeating. The thing I
Sonya
I
hates us
hate
right now.
both of you so much.
the other thing I think because I'm looking at this design right, and
Look at
it's
this.
like
Look at this. No one can see what we're
this,
talking
this
about.
is a
except for
practical
Sonya.
set. It's a white hallway.
Yeah.
There's some stuff on the walls, but it looks like the real inside of like a military vehicle,
Yes.
right? Of like a submarine or something. There's a basis in reality. It's not just business. It's not just ornate design for design's sake.
Right.
And it's practical.
Yeah.
And it's clean.
Yeah.
It's minimalistic. There's not all
They
this
had
chaos.
to build this.
Do you know what this kind of reminds me of? In a very primal way.
What?
And I hate bits. I'm just going
I
to
hate
restate
bits.
this. Because I know
Fuck bits.
people are saying, "Oh, this is getting so dry now. This is getting so dry," but it's because we hate bits that we're going to talk very
What does
dryly
it
about
remind
all
you of?
this. The Darth Vader design. Honestly, there's a
Yeah.
classicism
Yeah, exactly.
to
Yeah.
that, to the Killer Star, to the interior
All
of
right.
this ship.
That's enough.
They all look fucking. They're intelligently,
they look
elegantly
tactile.
designed.
They-
They're
yeah,
tactile.
yeah.
They're great.
Ah, love it. Anyway,
Good sidebar.
we were talking about Bail Organa.
I hate both of you so much.
Sonia, thank you so much for being on
We
the show.
love you, Sonia, and we love bits. I mean, we hate bits. That's what Ben's been doing.
But that's what I've been doing, guys. So,
Keeping Tom Hosley over here.
yeah, he's the peeper.
He's the peeper. Look at the peeper's the new name. Just so Ben's suggestion wasn't a total dead end, I would like to present for this new segment Star Wars What Ifs.
Okay.
I'd like to present this is Al Pacino as Padme Amidala. Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
That was terrible. I'm not laughing.
oh, I loved it. It was great.
Everyone else loved it.
The
That was
room,
good.
the
It was
room
good.
loves
The room
it.
loved it. The room.
The room loves it.
maybe we'll do the performance review next time, or
Yeah, it's about syncing up guests, but we got some good ones going up. We're gonna do a performance review, and we're going
look
to
at Jenny
do
Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
Jenny Tartakovsky, my favorite living filmmaker, director of Hotel Transylvania and Hotel Transylvania 2.
Yeah,
Did a Clone Wars micro series, animated micro series. I think is better
on the Cartoon Network, I believe.
Yes, better than the film. And so we're going to do that. Yeah. We're going to do performance review. We'll see which one comes next, but those are both coming up in your future. They're coming a short time ahead in a galaxy very close by. Don't make fun of me. That's my real voice.
It is not.
Yes, it is. I talk like this.
You're never going to get a Pixar movie.
I'm never going to get a Pixar movie. My career is ruined. Producer Ben, final thoughts?
I don't know.
Sorry we dragged you out here on a Sunday. But
No, it's okay. It was fun. I mean, at first...
You're at least convincing.
No, it was fun.
No,
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, the previous episode, I was mad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Ben
was
was mad. He
very
doesn't talk
mad.
much in last week's episode.
Wait, why was Ben mad?
Because he didn't want to
I
see
just
it.
didn't
Oh,
want to
no.
be here doing it, but I warmed up, and this one I had a lot of fun watching.
It was because
you
of me.
guys.
I think it was.
Aw, yay.
No.
No, do it.
I got very little sleep last night. I'm ready to fucking
How you doing,
slam
Griff?
performance left to right. I'm hungover and I'm tired. I'm sad. I'm doing great. We have a very special guest today,
Chris Gethard.
Chris
Hi.
Gethard.
How you doing,
He's
Chris?
a comedian. He's an actor.
He's a hero of ours.
Thank you.
He's the host of the Chris Gethard Show, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you are an actor.
I also am an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is an important thing to know. I'm not an actor, but you two are actors.
We're actors.
You guys have a
I
perspective
didn't even
on
think
this.
of that.
I'm
I'll
a
be
critic.
reviewing other actors.
Yeah.
I have to be very mindful of the craft.
Yeah, of course, their work, and like you should be mindful of the situation they were in, which was
Absolutely.
a tough one.
Absolutely.
Context is important. You
Yeah,
know,
I
the
think so.
environment. I mean, you spent a lot of time on set. You've been working a lot the
I've
last
been
couple
on
of
sets.
years.
Yeah, I've been on sets.
In
I've
multiple
seen a set or
different
two in my day.
capacities.
I've lingered around a craft service table or two.
But you've worked on big budget stuff. You worked on small budget stuff.
I guess that's
You-
true.
I mean, you've been cut out of some very big budget stuff.
Just
What's that? You look.
Griff,
Are you
I don't
angry
know.
at me? I'm not saying that as a slam. That's a fact. You were on a very big budget set. I'm not
it's a bit
trying
of
to
a sore spot.
focus on the fact that you were
Literally
cut out.
2 minutes into the
Iron
podcast,
Man
you
3.
just made our guest
Cut out
furious.
Iron Man 3.
No,
I'm
but
not
I'm
psyched.
saying-
I'm not psyched about it.
Well,
I'm
that's
not psyched about it
interesting, though.
either. I wish you were in it, but you were
Because-
on that set.
I might get cut out of Ghostbusters next year.
You were in Ghostbusters.
Who knows?
That's
Here-
that
I have
might
a
be
question. Is that just called Ghostbusters, or does it have a new? Is it just?
I'm
is
actually
it,
not sure.
Is like does it
I
gonna have
actually
a
don't
different
even know
title?
if I was allowed to say that.
That might be exclusive. Or it might be
Did you
something
say
that's
exclusive?
He says exclusive.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
That
I
might be
know.
something cut
Welcome
out.
to our podcast.
It's a
How
great
long
podcast.
is this?
90 minutes.
90 minutes, and Griffin behaves this way the whole time?
This is maybe the best behavior I've been on in weeks. Usually I talk about robot pussy and read racist essays I wrote in 8th grade.
You only did that the one time, but
Robot
that
pussies
lost-
I talk about a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Not that much this season because my favorite robot side piece is dead. No.
There's another very basic thing about when watching Revenge of the Sith last night, and this is something I knew, but I don't think, I had so much emotion watching them in the theater when they were
Of course, the
out.
big conclusion of the famed Star Wars
Yes,
trilogy.
I had watched the first one and the second one, and everything had built to this.
Right.
But one thing I really rings out, that's such a simple fix that I think makes all three movies
Oh, we love these.
20% better.
Yeah.
If the droids are your bad guys, they should not all sound like assholes.
Yeah, they should not all sound like total dorks. and
Everything
go,
is like
Roger.
The worst thing to me is
Yeah,
that they
that's a Jedi.
literally go uh-oh and like
Oh,
yeah.
no.
There's like one part where in Revenge of the Sith, and I would imagine free reign of spoilers, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
this is spoilerific.
Like,
We've gone
like when
backwards
Obi-Wan and
forwards.
Anakin go in to rescue the Chancellor,
Mm-hmm.
and then those two big R2's hiding out. Those two big droids come back, and they're straight up like, "Oh yeah, well, that's the Jedi. That's a Jedi warship." So if these guys are supposed to be fucking scary, make them sound
Well, this is
formidable.
There's never any stakes when the Jedi are facing off with the droids, which they do frequently.
They're completely disposable.
Yeah, of course. It's just like, oh, let's deal with this like they're sneezing on him, basically. The Jedi just, but even R2 with his Inspector Gadget routine can shut down a few.
Yeah.
He
you
can
know?
PP oil,
Yeah.
make them slip.
And that
That's not the greatest
I would,
moment in the
say
trilogy.
that I would also say that when it lights on fire, it's actually weirdly grim and violent compared to everything else that's ever happened in Star Wars.
This is a pretty grim movie, right? I'd
It
say
is.
compared to the
It
other
is.
two movies, there's some grim content
Yeah.
in this movie.
And we've talked about this before. For some reason, I don't know if it's thematically the way the scenes are set up, if it's visually the way they're designed. The robot deaths in this movie are a lot more violent than in the first two.
Yeah.
The deaths feel kind of gross and sad.
I would say this too. I watched the movie, and there were stretches where I got very bored and restless because of
it's long.
Yeah, but I noticed they all involve specific actors, which probably ties in well today to a performance review.
Oh, definitely.
A lot of stretches I was actually into it, but I would also argue this: if it ended, was it Order 66?
I believe yes, Order 66. Yeah.
If it ended after the sequence that showed Order 66, and Yoda just went into hiding. If it ended with the thing where Yoda gets inside that little
The little blaster
Cartoon
pod,
rocket
yeah,
ship.
the little Pez ship.
if that movie ended there, I would say that it might actually be a satisfying film.
So that's probably an hour 45 in, probably. Like
There's
that's a
another
decent
like
length
30 to 40
Because then
minutes.
you still
It's
got the
220.
whole Anakin
And them going back to the Jedi Temple,
all
and
that
then all that
nonsense.
stuff. If it just ended with Yoda taking off,
Yeah.
not a bad film.
I agree
Even
with you.
darker, though.
But
than
you
the
know what
film
that
we
would
have,
be?
yeah.
That would be a film that was setting up another film, right? Like that
Exactly.
would be a film that was leaving you with some nice meaty cliffhangers. What's going to happen to
and
Anakin?
This is the completion of a story, Chris. You have to remember.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
I feel,
so-
and it would also leave so many loose ends that you couldn't tie up all those loose ends. You'd have to commit to making like another 3 films.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
that's a
there's
dream.
nobody
That's the
that can
dream.
do that. I mean, I don't know if you know this. George Lucas did kind of stealthily sell Lucasfilm to Disney a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so we've been theorizing that Disney, I mean, they have this property. The original 3 films aren't very well loved, but were very successful.
Yeah.
They might try to make another movie. I mean, we keep
never
on
know.
hoping that they'll announce an episode 4 any day, which would
Yeah.
mean it probably wouldn't come out till like 2018.
I mean, if they made an episode 4, I'd be really interested.
And you know what'd be cool about that too? Is like seeing all our original cast come back now aged. You know, seeing like Hayden and
Like
Ewan
a
and Natalie.
40-something Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, the Holy
Crazy.
Trinity, or our 3 leads.
Yeah.
An Oscar now Oscared Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get through. Let's get
Okay,
through
yeah.
this
So
cast.
I'm looking at, as I usually do. I'm looking
So we're
at
going
IMDb.
cast member by cast member?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we go
IMDb
from the
billing.
top,
Yeah.
which is fun. 'cause
Oh, can I
there's
say one other
some
thing?
nuggets
Anything.
buried
One
down
other
there.
general thing before we
Go
get
right
into
So
it,
ahead.
safe
because I'm going to
space.
really
You can
focus
say
on this.
anything you want. Yeah.
In the when they go, wait, where are they when Obi-Wan is riding around on that giant lizard?
That's my favorite part of the movie.
It's called like Utapu
Utapau?
or Utapau,
It's
something
the
like
planet
that.
where
Who's
they're-
fighting with that?
That's a General Grievous.
Oh my
yeah.
god. Okay, we're going to talk about General Grievous later.
Yeah, we
right?
certainly
Oh
are.
my god,
Yeah.
maybe the worst.
maybe the worst
Absolute
thing.
fucking worst.
Yeah.
But that lizard that Obi-Wan inexplicably rides around on, there's never been a more blatant cash grab at making a toy than that.
Works for me. My favorite character. in
I
the
would
whole
say-
Why does that shit exist,
I
man?
don't know, and I don't
And
know
it
why
keeps
it's
making crazy
literally.
noises.
We've talked about this. The scene is like they're like, oh, he's downstairs, and Obi-Wan's like, great. Do you have like an iguana? Maybe I could ride
It
downstairs,
sucks.
like rather than just
He's like
take
level
an elevator.
10. Great. Should I wait for help or should I get on this thing that kids might buy?
Wait,
But I would say General Grievous is a pretty blatant toy.
Oh my god, General Grievous is the worst. I mean, poorly
Everything about him is
poorly executed, animated. No one cares about his opinions. He's constantly just like with that one part. Remember that one part where he shows up on a ship and then it's just like him and huffing and puffing. He just like gets off the ship and he's in a big rush. He looks like a fucking dickhead, man. Looks like a dickhead.
Well, he's always coughing. I mean,
So he's
there's
coughing.
another middle manager type.
And they did not do a good job of explaining who he is at all.
They don't do any job.
Who
of
is
that.
he?
we did some
We did a
research
little
on
investigation.
Wikipedia, which is the Star Wars Wikipedia. And General Grievous was a young warrior who fell in love with a woman who died. And he wasn't General Grievous yet.
Yeah.
He had like an identical arc
Griffin,
to Anakin.
I
where
don't
the
think you
love
can tell
killed
the
him.
whole Grievous story again.
The love killed him, and then they
turned him into
rebuilt
a
him
robot.
into a
So he's like
cyborg
an early prototype.
of Anakin.
So yeah, and like as far as Darth
Cyborg,
Vader goes, it
yeah.
was like there were some things about him that were messed up, and then they got it right for
Yeah,
Vader.
they were like, we need to make some changes. One, he shouldn't cough. He can have like a throaty breathing
Yes.
maybe, but
Also,
no coughing.
I'm sure everybody has a weak point, but if his is that you can just shoot him in the heart, maybe we use some of this armor to cover his fucking heart.
And then when you
just shoot him in the heart?
when you shoot his heart, it catches on fire.
And then his head explodes off his body. General Grievous is the worst thing about all
Yes,
three movies.
yes.
I would say worse than Jar Jar Binks. Can I
think you
say
said,
something
I've been in the
controversial?
river of Ham. No,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Ian McDermott fail.
Oh my god.
Now, what's your reasoning?
And now I was watching with this analysis
And
in
I think
mind,
we've given him passes for every movie.
and he's
Yeah.
great. He's great, except for one scene,
Ooh, what's the scene?
which ruins it all.
Oh my god.
His behavior during the confrontation with Mace Windu is...
No.
Okay, Anakin is killing me.
Now, that...
It is so bizarre that it undercuts everything else he did in that movie. I felt bad. I felt like Kevin Arnold bad. You know what I mean? You
Now,
watch
what
the
do you
Wonder
think
Years.
was... Yeah, of course they can. What do you think was going on in that? Because, like, you're talking... That's the scene. It all rests on that scene. That's where Anakin betrays the
That
kid, the
scene-
Jedi.
that's
That's
the
where
turning
he's
point.
got to turn it all
And
around.
I thought Samuel Jackson was pretty great in that scene.
He's fantastic in that scene. We're about to get to him.
Ian McDermott. It's like there's so many moments in all three of these movies where you're like, was anyone watching while this? Like, was anyone even watching them, or were they all just fiddling with gadgets and lights?
Probably.
You got to
And,
remember as
like,
well, like, these
probably
are
the
basically
latter.
independent movies. I don't know if the studio is, like, looking at the dailies and being like, hey, George, do you want to maybe, like...
Total free reign.
Adjust every... Well, the problem is the tone is all out of whack, right? He's all the way up here, and then, like, Hayden Christensen is all the way down here.
Samuel Jackson's really, I think, finding a sweet spot. But I would say, because I'll tell you, all throughout the beginning of that movie, I was like, this feels great. This feels like a bad guy performance in like an old like Boris Karloff style.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
feels like a lovably hammy bad guy.
Yeah.
But once he in that Mace Windu scene, oh my god! And then even afterwards, once he turns into like a total and for a movie that's so dedicated to CGI, all of a sudden you just you fucking. It's like you just melt a couple pieces of plastic and just stick them on his cheeks. Like, that's the one real thing you do. Like, even that, he said when he was like, man, and like that address to the Senate.
Yeah, where he proclaims
He is now settled.
empire.
He is now settled into it as like he's a total evil cartoon character.
Right.
And even that I buy. That Mace Windu scene is so bad that it makes me fail him.
You don't buy the transformation.
I mean, it's so many.
Anakin, help me.
What about do you like the earlier scenes, the opera house scene, all that stuff?
Oh my god! And the writing in that, when he literally, when Palpatine goes, "He's a traitor," and Mace Windu's response is, "You're a traitor."
Just for background, like this podcast generally is anti-bits, very much pro-Smiths. We've never weighed in on the nature of this performance exactly, but we just like Jimmy
Who
Smits
doesn't
a
like
lot.
Jimmy Smith?
That's what I was gonna say. I give him a soft pass.
I would too.
It's a soft
He didn't
pass.
do much except just be Jimmy Smith.
His big scene is where he watches the teenager Jedi die, remember? And he sort of goes, no! Like during
that
the...
teenager Jedi. That's one of the best performances in this film.
Well, Griffin's
We'll wait
got
till
some
you
news
hear
for
who
you.
he is.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get to
yeah.
his
We'll get to
fucking
his
real
name.
name. Wait till you hear who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Smits is a soft pass, mostly just, charm and handsomeness.
And he's got
a
that one
good-looking
scene where he's
guy.
like, my wife and I have always wanted a girl. And you're like,
Oh,
I
my-
don't know his wife, but like, I believe this, you know?
But I will say,
I've
just
never
again
seen
about the
his
writing
wife.
of that, of like, dude, straight up, the whole world is falling apart. There's been a coup
He's
of
like,
the
I get a
galaxy.
girl out of this?
The entire galaxy is a coup, and the defenders of peace and justice are all dead. And you're like, my wife and I, we
mean to adopt.
We've been thinking of getting a
Yeah.
3-bedroom, expanding.
it
You know.
has that vibe in a big way.
I'm giving him a fail.
I'm going to give him a fail, too. I mean, like...
Oz. He never brought it home.
Yeah, and you're saying, like, Oz did a good job in that. Like, yeah, it's a great voice. We know Frank Oz can spin
I
a
give
mean
him a
voice.
pass just because he's a hired gun and he does what he's done. You know what I mean? This is a guy who's sitting in a booth not unlike this one.
Yeah.
He's as far, like, he doesn't
True.
even have the pleasure of green screens or eye contact. You know what I mean?
Just to clarify, when you say a booth just like this one, you mean the booth that is currently being run by producer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben-Deucer, a.k.a. Purduer Ben, a.k.a. the Haas, a.k.a. the Poet Laureate, a.k.a. Mr. Positive, a.k.a. the Peeper, a.k.a.
Oh,
Lil
yeah, that
Fennel.
new one. Of course.
Yeah, you're the
Peeper.
Hey, yeah, I've been here the whole time, guys. Thanks for introducing me. Yes.
Sorry, Ben.
No, it's all right. I mean, I don't have much to add. I hate this movie.
Ben's really mad at us. Ben was like actively angry last time we
He
recorded.
doesn't like that this show exists.
Well, I had to come in on a Sunday and hear these guys for like 4 hours talk about this
Ben's
one
face
movie.
is turning scarlet right now.
Yeah, you're legitimately furious.
Yeah, it's all right, though.
We call him Mr. Positive for
It's
a
okay,
reason.
Ben. Just 4 more.
Oh, we're so close.
4 more years.
I want to move on, though. I want to move on to Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
Yeah, but also rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes.
Yes, please.
Those are the 2 things that Ben asked us
Of
to do at
course.
the beginning of the show.
Do it.
Do it.
Next is Wayne Pygram as Governor Tarkin, who we don't even hear speak in this movie.
I don't even remember him
He's
being in the
one
movie.
scene at the
What?
end of the movie. He's standing with Darth Vader and Darth Sidious watching that the sphere thing get made.
Oh, the Killer Star.
Yeah, and he's just standing out there with them.
What was that sphere thing?
Oh, who
It's like a
knows?
death
They're
planet.
obsessed with it.
They like vaguely allude to it being like a big weapon, but it's never really fucking explained.
Weird.
So I guess he's like a sort of future Empire bureaucrat guy.
But he's literally a background player,
and he's
right?
got this insane makeup. He's got the biggest cheekbones.
This guy probably wasn't even SAG. He had to be non-union. This guy's
You think he
background
got extra?
purely.
You think he got an extra?
I
Rate?
think he got extra. I'm giving him a fail because he's got a dumb face.
You're just dumb face.
I don't
You're
like
just
his
giving him a
face.
I
dumb.
would say fail. If they want to bill him that high, then I'm going to judge him for what he did. And it was not impressive.
I'm going to move on to David Bowers as Mas Ameda. Who's this guy?
Pass.
He's the he's Palpatine's.
That blue guy with the horns.
Yeah,
Pass.
Palpatine's like, what is he, like his secretary? I
Doesn't
don't
say
know.
a word. Can't take my eyes off him. Pass.
In one of the movies, he says, "This is a crisis."
Really?
And I don't remember which one though. It's one of them. I
Attack
think
the
it's
Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack the Clones.
Because it's in the trailer. I just remember that.
Yeah.
There's lots of chaos, and then they just got to him going, "This is a crisis."
But David, you remember that line reading enough to be able to properly
All right.
impersonate his voice.
He's in there.
He had a buttery baritone. He's a
Big
pass.
pass.
Wait,
One
I'm
of the top
now
passes.
I'm interested enough just to find out who David Bowers is. Oh my god!
the
Oh my
top
god!
passes.
I'm glad I clicked on his IMDb page. Here's his bio. He is best known for his classic line. I'm not kidding. In Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, quote, "This is a crisis." That is literally the top of his IMDb profile.
He will be remembered.
I'm
long
amazed
after
he
he's
didn't
dead.
pick up more work off that because he killed it.
Okay, here we go. This is good. This is good. Matthew Wood as General Grievous.
Fail.
Now you wanted to talk
Waiting
about
for
him.
this one. What a fucking piece of shit character. What a pile of shit performance. What an insulting to everybody's fucking intelligence, both intellectually and emotionally speaking. What a fucking train wreck character. Skittering around on the floor like a little fucking jerk when you're supposed to be this person everybody's chasing. How did this person rise to prominence in any army? Why are the Jedi so obsessed with getting this bumbling fool that can't do anything right? None of it makes sense. The performance is deplorable. I hate it. I hate everything about General Grievous.
I mean, 3 fails here, no question. I'm also going to give him my LVP. I'm going to give him my award for
He's
least valuable
Absolutely.
player.
I didn't give out a
Absolutely.
most valuable player. I don't know who I'd give it to. I guess I'm going to have to think about that. It might be Sam Jackson.
Anyway, that's a strong
As what? As your MVP?
Yeah, I'm wondering who the MVP is.
Yeah, I got mine.
All right, so I think this might be it. Is it Ben Cook as Kit Fisto?
Ding, ding, ding. Kit Fisto is the shit. Did you sense from the Kiadi Mundi Plo Kloon obsession
Yeah,
that
I got it. I got that. You were,
is there a character in these movies that you see less of, that you want more than Kit Fisto? In the second one, in the third one, give me my Fisto. What's the deal? He looks cool, acts cool. Everything about Kit Fisto's fucking cool. Carries this film. Absolute MVP. Without the keystone that is Kit Fisto, this whole movie crumbles. Kit Fisto is by far. You get this sense. I could tell you, I saw Kit Fisto for roughly 4 seconds in this film. Here's what I know. Kit Fisto, Jedi Master, yeah, but probably on the younger side, probably on the more rebellious side, goes off and does Kit Fisto's thing a little too often for the Jedi Council's comfort,
yeah.
but gets things done his own way. Maybe he doesn't need the clones as much as others. Maybe he's one of the ones that's voiced some discontent about why are we relying on this? Because it's easy. That's never been our way. Kit Fisto is someone who gets out in the field, does his own thing. Kit Fisto doesn't care if he needs to go undercover, clandestine for months, even years at a time. Kit Fisto gets the job done. Maybe Kit Fisto doesn't play nice with others. Maybe Kit Fisto doesn't get along with everybody all the time. He doesn't play the politics. He doesn't play the game. He goes and he gets it done like a Jedi. Kit Fisto, MVP, now, always, Sirach.
wow. Just to clarify for you guys, he's the guy with the green dreadlocks.
He's got big black bug eyes.
Big bug eyes.
And dreadlocks.
In the second movie, I think he pushes someone over, a
In that
droid
battle,
over,
in that
and
big
he's got
battle.
like
No,
like
but he's
6
running
fingers.
like a motherfucker. When they go inside that big stadium that's very convenient for the fucking battle, he's running like, I'm gonna fuck shit up, and he's psyched that he gets to do it. Kit Fisto seems, you know what it seems like? Like every Jedi Master has a stretch before he's a Master where he just gets real into the fact that he can fuck shit up. And I get the sense that Kit Fisto is right in that phase. He hasn't settled down yet. It's not about wisdom. It's about fucking shit up.
And talk about tragedy, cut down the prime of his life. I mean, you're saying this was a man with only potential ahead of him.
My guess is that if you, if I would have to, because I'd have to imagine that these Jedi as individuals are legendary characters, like baseball players or basketball players are to us when we're kids. And I have to imagine, I don't think Kit Fisto's the LeBron James. That's probably Yoda.
Yeah,
right?
sure, right.
And then you got Kevin Durant is probably Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Ki-Adi-Mundi is probably...
I think he's DeMarcus Cousins.
He's like a DeMarcus Cousins.
Wait, how the fuck did you do this? You're talking about basketball.
Yeah, DeMarcus
Wait,
Cousins.
who's your Kit Fisto then? He's like an Iguodala?
Westbrook.
Oh, that's great.
Kit Fisto is Westbrook. All day.
Yeah.
All day.
He just brings the
Tell
thunder.
me that doesn't make sense.
No, it makes total sense. It
Kit
makes total
Fisto
sense. He's
is the
someone who
Jedi
approaches
Russell
his job
Westbrook.
with joy and energy and fury.
And he's a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
But that being, it's like, but here's the thing, like,
But he needs to be pulled back sometimes.
and a surprisingly high assist rate.
Yeah, you know.
Like, you
of course.
think he's a wrecking ball and a ball hog, but guess what? Serge Ibaka is not hitting corner threes without Westbrook going 1-on-4 and drawing all the attention.
But
Kit Fisto enters situation. You know what he is? He's responsible Anakin.
Yeah.
So you think maybe they should have just invested the Anakin money right in Kit Fisto?
I want to see a movie about Kit Fisto.
Do you want to see it with
Big
Ki-Adi-Mundi and Plo Koon?
Yeah, I
Maybe
want
the three of them hanging
that,
out?
Tell me you wouldn't watch a movie
Of
where
course
the
I'd watch
three
that
of them
movie.
were
Are you kidding me?
Jedi Wrecking Crew. Those are the three everybody wants to see.
So do you want to know something interesting about Ben Cook, who plays
Plo
Kit
Koon
Fisto?
is like the Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He's Snake Eyes.
Uh-huh.
Now, I just want to show you. Here's a picture of
tell
Ben
me
Cook.
everything.
Here he is.
That's
what
the
does that
guy
guy
from
look like to you?
Fisto?
Who does he look like to
Jason
you?
Statham.
Guess who he is?
Jason Statham's stunt double?
Boom.
Oh my god!
He plays Jason Statham.
He's Jason Statham's stunt double in like so many movies.
Wow,
This
man.
dude, for the
And
listeners
he is
at
a
home,
fight coordinator in a lot of movies.
Are
splitting
other
image.
people obsessed with Kit Fisto?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think Kit Fisto is a real because look at his look. You know,
The best.
There's like a big Kit Fisto following
I'm really
online.
glad.
Is there any place I can get more info on Kit Fisto?
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia will tell you lots about Kit Fisto.
And are there comic books and shit?
I think so.
Do we know?
There's expanded universe
Kit
Kit
Fisto.
Fisto.
A lot
I
of
want to
expanded
read
universe.
all
Now,
the Kit
We're
Fisto.
basically done, but there are
Come
two
on, we're not done. We're just
performances-
getting started. We just got the Fisto.
There are two performances
It's a great
I really
name,
want to
too.
highlight.
Kit. Single syllable, strong. Kit. It's not like Plakvar or one of these dumb fucking Busby, whatever these fucking dumb George Lucas names are. His name's not Plakvar or Busby. It's Kit. Fisto.
Oh my god.
Fisto. He's a Jedi. He's a fighter. It makes sense. Even Plo Koon is pushing. Ki-Adi-Mundi, rad name. Plo Koon, right on the edge.
Yeah.
Kit Fisto. Tell me more.
Kit Fisto.
Yes.
His distinctive head tentacles contain
Yes.
highly sensitive olfactory receptors
Yes, he smells through his tentacles. Yes.
that allowed him to detect pheromonal expressions of emotion
Yes, he could smell emotion. Yes.
and
That's
other
really
changes
cool.
in body chemistry.
What
this,
a crazy power.
this was indeed a unique attribute not afforded to any other species of Jedi.
So is it his
Ding.
species or is it him
Is it the
personally?
combination of his species and his Jedi ability?
Yeah.
Both.
Oh, nice.
He was a master. He was on the High Council.
What's his planet? What's his race?
Yeah, what's his alien type?
His alien type
There's a lot of tentacled peoples
I love
in this
all the Twi'lek.
universe. Yeah,
all the Twi'lek.
Uh,
Of which I think there maybe was only that one.
people like I see people
no, there
dressed
was-
up as Twi'lek though.
Yeah.
his planet.
There is another guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy I think. Please.
His homeworld is called Glee and Selm.
Huh? I
Okay.
like that.
Cool. All right.
His species is that he is a nautilin.
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 I knew he had
That's
some
kind of a
connection to
nice
water.
old-fashioned
Oh, yeah.
name.
He
Dude
lives in the
fucking
water.
swims.
He's amphibious.
Yeah,
he's
yes,
an
he's
amphibious
amphibious.
Jedi.
Like a motherfucker.
I'm gonna let you because this is a very long Wikipedia entry.
Give me your phone.
Can I just read some of the
Yes,
the,
yes.
the headings
Yes.
of the separate sections
Yes.
for how cool this guy's history was? Okay, Battle of Geonosis. We know this. This is when he comes into the arena, starts fighting the Clone War. Battle of Mon Calamari.
Ooh, tasty.
And look, it's him shirtless underwater fighting with a lightsaber underwater.
Is this from a comic book or something? Let me see.
Yeah.
Soon.
Holy shit.
Ripped. Skirmish on Camino.
Not a battle. Skirmish.
Just a skirmish.
You know why it was just a skirmish? Because Fisto ended it before it could become a
He
battle.
nipped that shit in the bud.
Kamino, to remind you, is the planet where the clones are made.
That's true.
Ooh,
Yeah, maybe
skirmish.
someone was trying to shut down those clones.
Skirmish on Deveron.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. Mission on Ord Cestus.
Down to mission. So he's like maybe secret agent stuff at that point.
This
He's
is
like
him living on
infiltrating.
This guy goes undercover. He don't bring. He
It's
don't
crazy
bring
to imagine a guy with like
55 clones in a big weird helicopter with
he,
him.
he
just
has
goes, he
green
does it.
tentacle hair. How's he gonna go
He
undercover?
smells your happiness and he gets it done. Smells your deception and your lies.
Duel with a cyborg.
What?
Oh damn. Why isn't this in the movie though? This is the thing. Anytime I read this shit, you're like, wait, where is this in the movie?
All this shit. Fisto. This is why Fisto.
So Fisto
MVP.
is, I feel like,
MVP.
even though
MVP.
again, all Fisto does in 3 is get like cut into pieces by Palpatine. He at least
Did he-
fights him for a second.
He fights Does he
does.
come in with Mace Windu?
Yeah.
And that cool
Yeah.
badass shot where they walk
Yes,
through.
he's what's cool and badass about it.
Return to Mon Calamari. He remembers.
Back for more.
Wouldn't, honest to God, and I know I'm hyping him up. I know I'm flipping out.
Yeah, but it's fun.
It's justified.
This is the Star Wars fanboy in me.
Yeah.
Not that I grew up with it, but I locked into it.
But like, if you bought a Star Wars toy, you might want yourself a Kit Fisto.
Kit Fisto. I'm just saying, wouldn't you, if they let those Jedi charge in and Mace Windu charged in and was like, go, and Kit Fisto ran forward and it was like a 3-minute battle between Palpatine and Fisto, wouldn't it be significantly better movie?
Yeah, no question.
I mean, it would probably have been an Oscar contender in that
Yeah.
case, right?
Absolutely.
No question.
Jason Statham's stunt double
Amazing.
killed it.
Any other thoughts, Chris, as you leave us?
Let's see. The other people I have on my fantasy team, I took Kevin Love when
Well, thank
Hassan
you so
Whiteside
much
was
for
still
listening
available.
to
I don't
this.
know if I like that
Kevin
choice.
Love's a good choice.
Podcast
Did you
that's
see
over
LeBron
Star
saying they're
Wars.
going to run the offense through Kevin
I
Love?
know, and Hassan Whiteside is
Star
kind of a
Wars.
head
So,
Yeah.
Griffin, you're
I
starting to
don't want
kind of
this
get
on
what
my
I
side.
feel like every week.
Now I finally
Gay?
understand.
Like,
I've
this
been
is
placed
this is
Yeah,
more or
Rich
less
Hill.
what it's
Rich
like
in
to
the
me.
head of
for me
producer
last night.
Ben.
That's good.
Yep.
This is
Uh,
what it feels
Tyson
like to have
Chandler.
the haunted
Okay,
goblins
all
invade
right.
your
I just
studio
wanted to
every
say
week
that
and
wouldn't
talk
mess
about
up my
things you hate.
percentages. Get
It
me
just
rebounds and
sounds like
blocks.
another
Yeah.
language happening in front
I
of
mean,
you.
Yeah,
I
that's
took-
what this
I
feels
took
like to me
Mello.
right
I
now.
know.
You did.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
10
it, and I'm
buckets.
angry
Yeah.
simultaneously.
And then I got John
Right.
Wall.
No,
at like
I
16.
always, but you can't
Wait, you got
even
John Wall
add
when?
to it.
Like
you have
16.
nothing you could
So
offer.
happy.
And I have
he
nothing
fell
to
off the
contribute.
He's
This is
top
also
10 in most
terrible
leagues.
podcasting right now.
I've
agree with
always
you.
wanted to have a
Talking
team
at
with
the
John
same
Wall, but he
time.
never.
Well, we
last
can
year I picked
fix
first.
it
This year I picked
post, I
last.
think.
He always
Yeah,
goes
well,
right.
George
I
style.
almost got him
Sure.
this year. I would
Yeah,
love
George
to
would
have
fix
John
it in
Wall.
John
post.
Wall
That's
is
very. It's appropriate.
gonna be a
thematic.
superstar.
I'm not.
this year.
I'm not sad about Damian Lillard.
You'd like
but
Kit
I'd
Fisto,
prefer
though,
John
at least,
Wall.
right?
Lillard's going to be great.
And
though.
Paul George, I think, will be good.
Honestly,
You know who I took
Yeah,
though?
no, be
CJ
honest.
McCollum.
I mean,
and he
yeah,
scored
he seems
37
all right.
points last night.
Yeah, that's
So you
awesome.
like
He's
him,
going
but
to go
you don't
off
love
this
him.
year.
I'm not
I
in
Which-
love
who's
that
he
guy. I
playing
mean,
for?
he's like
Portland.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I could feel
There's
like
a
I could come up
vacuum
with a
there.
cooler
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
I didn't
He's
ask you
been
if you were
laboring
in
for
love
2
with
years.
him. I asked if you
All right.
love him. There's a difference
All right.
between being in love and loving.
Trying to think.
No, I
who
don't love
else.
it. I honestly, I'll put it as a challenge. I bet.
I'll show
I
you
bet
my
I
team
could come
off.
up with a
It's
better
okay.
character by next episode.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
your assignment next week.
Griffin,
you have
can
to
you
come
hand
with
me
a
my
better
phone? I
character.
want to show David my fantasy team.
Okay, so thank you so much for listening to this show.
Thank you guys.
It's right behind you.
Rate,
It's down there.
review, subscribe. I'm really busy finishing the podcast. I'm sorry, my hands are occupied. David, don't hand that phone over to Chris.
Well, we're signing off.
Rate, review, and subscribe.
Listen to the UCB podcast.
Next week, Ben's going to come up with an original character.
That sounds awesome.
Star Wars What If segment. This is if Al Pacino was a battle droid.
Roger.
And as always,
So it's always going to be Pacino.
I don't know. We're pressed for time. We always put it off to the last second, so I don't know what else to do. Merchandise spotlight, buy a Kit Fisto action figure. And
This is a great one.
this is a great one. This is a great one.
Yeah.
Was it okay?
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the best. For the first time, producer Ben, a.k.a. Producer Ben, a.k.a. the Ben Deucer, a.k.a. the Poet Laureate, a.k.a. the
starting with
Paz,
this.
a.k.a. Mr. Positive,
People are just like
AKA
delete,
the Peeper.
swipe.
a.k.a.
I like the peeper.
Yeah, Peeper's
We all
good.
like the Peeper. Peeper plays. A.k.a. Hello Fennel, Ben Hosley himself, played our theme music
I know, it's weird.
as we started
And
recording.
then he said he would fade it out, and then he just abruptly cut it off.
he just turned it
midway.
off. But
Well, no one needs to know that, David. Shit.
You're a shoddy producer, Ben. I'm calling you out.
Fuck you.
Once again, Ben is red with rage.
Yeah, it's like I
Right
try to
from the
do something
get-go.
nice, and
No,
you're
it
gonna
was
give me
great.
shit about
It
it.
was
Fuck
great.
you.
It
You'll
was
never
so
get in the
great.
theme song playing again, ever again.
Thank you, Ben.
You're
Our
welcome.
guest is laughing.
Our guest having a
One
great
guy
time.
likes it.
I'm very excited about our guest today.
Me too.
He has been one of our earliest and most vocal supporters of the show.
I mean, you know,
It's true.
Genius. Game recognized game.
Game recognized game.
Yeah.
He messaged me like 3 weeks into I think us doing the show and was like, the thing I hate about the show is that I didn't have the idea first. It was just like hats off. And
More
he
people
himself
should talk about the Phantom Menace.
Yep. He himself is a comedian and an actor and a podcast host of what is my favorite podcast right now. I will
You tweet about it a
say
lot.
that. Tweet about it a lot. I fucking love it. It's called Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood. His name is Jonathan Braylock.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
And you brought a concept with you for this week's episode too.
Yeah,
I would say.
Okay, that's awesome. Yes, I did. I guess I did. I kind of like was like, hey, did you guys watch the animated cartoons? And you had, right, Griffin?
You're
but not
entering
in-
as an
yeah.
advocate. though.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
totally. Yeah.
Chapter 4, Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
Yes!
Right, yeah. And it's right off the bat, and it's Kit Fisto.
With a
Episode
big
4
smile.
Like the
on-
first 3
on-
episodes, we're just dealing with our main heroes.
Yeah. And
Who's the
it's-
first guy we're taking off the bench? Fisto.
And it's on Mon Calamari. I
Yep.
think we talked about it with Chris.
He goes underwater. It's a bunch of
he
people with
rips
squid
off
heads.
his clothes.
Yeah. All
Rips him off
rips
with
him
a
off.
big grin.
Shirtless.
Yeah, dives in the water.
You guys liked that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's so lame.
You're
man.
lame.
Wait, you like this series and you don't like the Kit Fisto
Kid
episode?
Fisto's lame.
Oh, fuck you.
Whoa.
all right?
Shots fired.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm calling it out. Okay. Because, like, if you think about Aquaman, he's the worst character. Why do I want to see a fight in the sea?
I like
Kid
Aquaman.
Fisto has a lightsaber.
Yeah,
He
Kit
does.
Fisto's got tentacles.
That's bullshit. Underwater. I want to
Wow.
see space fighting. I want to see some fucking.
So did you like the pilot stuff though, like the weird loop-de-loops and all that cool shit?
Of course.
Yeah, that stuff's
Yeah.
cool.
If I'm watching Star Wars, I want to see some space fighting. I don't want to see some underwater bullshit.
So you just hate water.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you like swimming, Ben?
I actually love swimming.
Yeah, me too.
Did you like the Snorks?
What are snorks?
They were like the
show.
Smurfs, but they were underwater.
Yeah.
It was like a Hanna-Barbera.
No.
thing.
No. It wasn't.
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to say no.
Okay, Ben, I think this is a good time to do a little sidebar.
What's up?
Last week, you were shit-talking Kit Fisto at the end of the episode when David and Gether were talking about stupid basketball.
Yes, I recall.
And you said that you thought he was stupid, and you said, I think I could make up a better character than Kit Fisto. And I said, I challenge you. And you today have prepared several characters. You told me that
Yeah.
not just one.
Yep.
Ben's character spotlight. These are producer Ben's original Star Wars characters that he's going to present
yeah,
for us
fucking
right now.
Knock
That are better than
knock
Kit Fisto.
Fisto out of the park. with
Okay,
this
here we
shit.
go.
Alright.
Here we go.
All right. Where to start?
Anywhere. Literally anywhere.
okay.
For a second, I thought you named a Jedi where to start.
I would believe that.
Where to start?
Okay. First character. His name is Bat Pecky. Okay.
Okay. Bad.
All right.
Bat Pecky.
He's
Okay.
from the cave planet called Kragon.
I hate this already.
I don't know. I'm
He's
kinda
a-
with
I
you.
like
He's
Cave
a-
Planet.
yeah.
Guys, he's a Batman.
Why?
Okay, go on.
Sonar hearing.
Well, you're really against him. You're
Braylock hates Bat Pecky.
Why?
He can fly around. He's got
because
white,
he's like a bat. I get it.
he's got white skin. His parents are dead.
All right, so he's just Batman.
Isn't
No,
this just
it's a
the
different
villain
thing.
Batman
Yeah, this sounds.
from Batman?
You mean Man Bat?
Man Bat.
Yeah.
You're talking about- you're talking about Man
I'm talking
Bat.
about Man Bat.
So this sounds like Man Bat with Batman's backstory.
I want to point something out to you, Griffin.
Yeah.
By the way, it's Chapter 5 is Kit Fisto. Chapter 4, you're off. You're off.
I'm on
episode
I'm on
duty.
Wikipedia.
Well,
Is this
fuck
something
you.
off?
I'm on Wikipedia, the definitive source.
Okay.
Chapter 4 is the one with that weird robot who's like made of
These are
muscles.
flips in my thing, but whatever. We'll talk
well,
about this
these are
later.
very important
Ben's character
things
spotlight.
everybody cares about.
All right, second, we got Alo Gashu. It's a pretty good name.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
pretty
actually,
good
yeah,
name.
I actually like that.
All right.
Alo Gashu.
He's a fucking huge Jedi. Tired of this small
I like
bullshit.
that. I like that.
All right.
You know, what's his species?
Wow.
I don't know, he's big.
He's a big Jedi.
I'm tired of these small Jedis.
Attached to him is a Quado-like conjoined twin named Frank.
So, like from Total Recall, he's got like a tumor baby
Yep.
in his
Talks to him.
chest.
Yeah.
All right.
Big guy is all brawn, little deuce smart.
His name's Dink. What's his name?
Frank.
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 Okay.
Alo Gashu.
Alo Gashu.
Can he do like any cool things? Like
He's
because
huge.
Kit Fisto can swim and he can breathe underwater
He
and
can smell emotions.
He can throw like force bubbles that can blow ships
Yeah.
up.
He makes a Kit Fisto in episode 4 or 5, depending on what source you're going off of, makes a force bubble
A force bubble.
and then throws at him and blows shit up.
I don't know. He claps and it's like really loud, and it like knocks
Take
people
that,
away.
So Alugashu has an unformed twin coming off of his body, and
Who
he's
speaks in the bigger one's ear? It's like, clap really loud now.
can he
Yeah.
reach the ear? Is he
This'll
where is
be a
he
good
where is
time
he
to
located
clap.
on
I
the
think
body?
he's like on the shoulder.
He's on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So he literally just whispers in the ear.
Uh-huh. He does all the talking.
He does all the
talking.
talking.
Okay. Alugashu, and you have one more?
Yes. Darth stupid idiot.
Wow.
And he's a fucking jerk.
Yeah.
He's always wet and tired.
He's always wet and tired.
Why is
Yeah.
he wet? What is
I
he
don't
gonna-
know. It's just kind of like I was thinking of like the coughing thing.
Yeah, like Grievous is coughing.
Grievous
And
is
so
coughing.
this is his. He's just like
Can't wait to talk about
he's
that.
always
we're gonna
wet.
talk about Grievous.
He's always tired. And he has a lightsaber that's a prolapsed anus.
With that, I feel like we need to return.
Yeah, we have to return.
I think that was pretty solid.
It's a mic
that's
drop
pretty
moment.
solid. I gotta say too, when Ben said that he prepared characters before he started recording, I said, I bet one of these is gonna be named Darth Bullshit. I was pretty close.
Yeah, you were.
2 additional thoughts as to why season 3 isn't as good, and they're connected. One is, I think
It's more
they-
Anakin centric. But go on.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
Well, and this
It
is all
It
tied to this
is.
thing. I think it was more handcuffed to leading into Revenge of the Sith.
like to the
That
T.
is true. They have to set up Revenge of the
They
Sith.
literally leave it off at the exact moment that the
And
Revenge of
this
the Sith
this
starts.
aired in March 2005,
Right.
and then for the
Yeah.
next few weeks, so it was
Like-
literally right before the movie came out.
The
movie
effects
came out in
weren't
May.
locked, but they were writing and animating this series knowing what Revenge of the Sith was.
Yeah.
They probably were finishing the effects, but had a final cut, knew exactly what the movie was, and George was like, you have to take us to this finish line. Point 2 is, I think George was far more involved in this one.
That's
Probably.
possible.
And I think that's
Probably
connected to
very
point
true.
1, but I think these episodes are a lot more plot heavy.
Yes.
There's a lot more dialogue in them.
Yes.
It's not ever as bad as it is in the prequels, but there are 2 things that happen a lot with the dialogue. One is dumb, jokey one-liners.
Ugh.
There are some dumb, jokey one-liners in
Wait,
season
wait,
3.
can I
The
tell you some?
depiction of Palpatine.
Yes.
Can I tell you? Oh yeah, Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Can I tell you
What do
some
mean,
things?
dumb,
though?
jokey one-liners.
The lady must get you to safety.
No. We have to evacuate the building. Get everyone to a shelter.
Yes, my lady.
An army of droids. Here, I'd like to have a serious talk with your programmers.
Come on, 3PO.
Love that shit.
Okay, great job, Ben.
That was really good.
I feel really good about that.
Great job, Benny boy.
Oh my
Can I tell you something?
Braylock is losing it.
Listening to that out of context, it is so bad.
Yeah, we don't really need to discuss the
Oh
dialogue anymore.
my
That's you now
God.
get. It's jokier. It's a lot more exposition heavy.
He's just yelling. He's just yelling while battles going on.
He can't
I'm
believe
gonna
an army
talk
of
to your
droids.
programmers.
Fuck.
What are you talking? C-3PO, you've seen droid armies.
This is the
before.
thing.
years.
Well, I mean, and I think Morgan referenced this in episode 2 when he's like, "Machines making machines." It's like, what are you? Everything.
What are you
It's the
talking
most
about?
commonplace thing in the
Why
world.
is C-3PO so knowledgeable on so many things, but on the most basic functions of machines? He doesn't get it. He knows 6,000 languages with a flip. Like
Oh, yeah.
he knows like how to talk to other robots, but doesn't understand that machines make machines.
The other
What?
Thing, the other thing with C-3PO is he seems to think that he's the only robot that can do anything. Like a droid picking up a scarf.
Yeah,
How dare they?
Why did Anakin program him to be this like
Elitist. Like,
elitist, snobby,
Yeah.
uptight? Like, oh my god.
it's everything that George claims he was trying to do with Star Wars, one-upped by someone he hired
Yeah.
as a throwaway.
Sometimes
Give
it's
me
what you gotta
3-minute
do.
shorts that air before Operation Kids Next Door or whatever. You know?
Ben 10 Alien Force.
Right. And this guy just fucking ran circles around. Jendi Tartakovsky is a fucking boss. I
He's
love
a boss
it.
bitch.
Super quick merchandise spotlight.
Okay.
As you said, he
He
created this.
really wanted to jumpstart the toy sales.
Well, because Attack of the Clones is
Bad
mostly
toy sales.
romance, so kids didn't want to buy the toys. So
Yeah,
he was
that
like,
was the
let's
problem.
make a war plotline. So they designed all these characters, like Dirge and Asajj Ventress, I think were created to sell toys first. And they started selling toys that summer that were, like, realistic. Like, they looked like they were from the live-action movies.
Oh.
And they did all right.
Yeah.
And people immediately were like, why don't you have toys that look like these cartoon shows?
He's a badass cartoon.
Like, the cartoon shows episodes were made to support the toy line.
Right.
And so they finally, like, bent and were like, fine, we'll make them, but they're going to be really limited, and they're only sold at, like, Target. We're only making a couple characters. And I, like, growing up in New York City, was not a Target, couldn't get them, didn't have them. Last night while watching this, in the middle, like, in breaks in between, ejaculating everywhere, I did immediately go on eBay, and I ordered every action figure.
So what are the toys?
It's Dooku, Yoda, Asajj Ventress, Dirge, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and a clone trooper.
Damn.
So I ordered all of them.
You got all of those? How
Yeah.
much you spend?
$60.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a Grievous. Those were released during season 1 and 2. So Grievous wasn't released until season 3 later. So I have to buy him separately because it wasn't part of the set.
But Grievous was at the end of season 2?
Yeah, but they didn't make a toy
But they didn't
until
make
season
it
3.
right? Because it was only in the last episode.
Yeah, the only other ones they made were Grievous, and then they made Anakin covered in the blue lines, and they made a bunch of clone troopers in different colors. But Grievous is like the only unique character I don't have now. So I ordered all of those. Merchandise Spotlight. That's the power of merchandise.
Can you bring them in when you get them?
Yeah. You make
At least
a thing
bring
I
in
like.
Ventress.
You
Go
make
ahead.
a thing I like, I'll buy it off eBay immediately.
We have a special guest with us today.
We definitely
I'm
do.
putting my arm on his shoulder right now.
We've been talking to this guest
Without
about being on the
looking at
show for a long time.
I know.
Possibly even dating back to the Phantom podcast.
I think we've been trying to get his attention for a long time.
A long time.
Mr. Rick McCallum.
Mr. Rick McCallum is here in the studio today.
I'm the man who coordinates. I can't really do a Rick McCallum impression.
It's Mike Ryan of Uproxx. I was a little scared about doing another deleted scenes episode because I thought it might be little thin, a little sweaty. But then I watched these deleted scenes. Whoa, Nelly.
There's some weird stuff in there.
There's some weird fucking stuff to talk about here.
Yeah.
On one hand, I understand why all of them were deleted.
Yeah, but then if you watch the movie,
I don't understand why the
say
whole
maybe
film
you
wasn't
should delete.
deleted.
Right.
Just wipe your computer hard drive. Don't keep any of this. But it does. These scenes actually do attempt to resolve some of the issues that we've been complaining about in this movie for the last.
They add a lot of depth. Well, let's ask Mike about the movie.
Okay.
Because Mike,
The movie or the deleted scene?
just before we get into the deleted
Thoughts on the
scenes,
movie?
your overall impression of Revenge of the Sith.
I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither.
Bad movie. Huh?
Bad movie. Yeah.
Crazy that we've done now 8 episodes on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still don't like it. Every week we think maybe this is the week we're gonna like it. Nope.
I rewatched it in honor of meeting with you two gentlemen, and
And we had like a
feel like-
45-minute conversation on a New York City corner
We
a
did.
few weeks ago about it.
I think George Lucas somehow got a memo between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, like, oh man, they're just not having enough fun. So his idea of throwing fun is just the same kind of dialogue, only I'm gonna smile while saying it.
Yeah.
Like, look at that, I'm having a great time. Like, how many times does Ewan McGregor like smile in this movie as he delivers a stilted line?
A lot of cheeky line delivery.
It's true.
Hello there.
It's almost,
big smile.
it's
Big
almost
smile.
like he's like there's some horror of war thing going on with him because he's in the midst of like murder and battle and he's always like grinning, kind of like almost like he's overcompensating.
He's going through like a disassociative episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, it's almost like people told him that the last two were really staid and boring.
a little stilted and dour.
And so he Googled fun. And then was like, okay, smiling.
Everyone's smiling in these stock photos when I Google fun.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he comes on
just
set and I
smile
say,
more.
new rule, guys. We're going to have fun. And from what I understand, that means smiling.
Yeah, the corners of your mouth need to be upward. Yeah, that's what we need.
There's that.
And then there's that other scene that really kind of, it pisses me off every time I see it. It's in the opening shot where Anakin Skywalker is they're flying through all the mess, and he says, "Here's where the fun begins." And he says it in such a terrible way. He can't deliver it with any kind of authority like anyone else can.
Well,
you know what scene I like is a great display of George's emphasis on fun in this movie is when they go to retrieve Emperor Palpatine, Senator Palpatine, from
He's the
Grievous's
Emperor.
clutches.
Chancellor.
Chancellor,
Anyway,
yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
sorry. Why am I
picked
nitpicking?
the one that wasn't the
Why
right
am I
one.
nitpicking?
Yeah.
Go on.
When they go to rescue him, and he's in the chair, and then Count Dooku like comes up behind them, and you turn around, and Count Dooku has like 2 noisemakers, and he's setting off fireworks, and he's doing like a little like mariachi dance. It's fun.
All right. I listen to all that for that.
It's fun.
I think you can be a little bit more stronger on that, not moody.
This is exactly. there's these great little snippets. See, Ben was listening.
Oh, you're talking about producer Ben, aka Purduer Ben, aka the Ben Deucer, aka Mr. Positive, aka Hello Fennel, aka the Haas, aka the Peeper.
The Peeper himself. He was peeping on these deleted scenes and these
sure
making
was.
of. And you see George Lucas directing Hayden Christensen, which I've never seen
pretty
before.
incredible.
And it's awful. You feel
like,
so bad for Hayden Christensen.
It's like walking in on your parents having sex. It's like, no, this isn't fun for anybody.
And like, there's this scene where he walks up to Hayden and he says, like, so I've really expanded like the scene with you and Chancellor to give you a lot more to do.
Oh wait, I got the clip.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead.
Ben's throwing clips.
I have rewritten. I spent the whole weekend rewriting the scene between you and Palpatine, where you turn. Yeah. And I've added some more to that.
And Hayden's just
You do not do a very good George Lucas.
No, a terrible George Lucas. You do a better one.
I've added some scenes when you turn.
He's difficult
I
to
tried
do.
one once, and someone thought it sounded like a combination between Kermit the Frog and Lorne Michaels.
Yeah, he there's a lot of Lorne Michaels in there.
That is
it's a sort of soft-spoken.
Anakin.
There's a lot of Kermit there.
Back when Chevy was on the show. I'm sorry.
No,
I
that
didn't
was
even hear
great.
it.
That was
never
great.
apologize.
I ruined the whole thing.
You're wearing
Never
a Star Wars
apologize.
shirt.
I
just
ruined
noticed.
everything.
You are wearing a Star Wars shirt.
But I just want to say the look in Hayden's eyes when George is saying that to him, like when he's saying like I wrote for the whole weekend to make this scene better for you. Hayden just looks like so lost and like it's like I've had the feeling when your boss comes up to you and he's like, oh, could you he's giving you nonsensical advice and you just have to be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, no, that's fine, I'll do that.
Yeah, right.
Like Hayden's just obviously like whatever, like let's just do it, let's just get through this. Like I felt very bad for Hayden for the first time in a while.
When you say, I want more, but I know I shouldn't, you can turn away. I want more, but so when you're saying, I know I shouldn't, you're turning away.
There's a part where they go into like him dealing with the previs on all the special effects. And he's like going over the storyboards with them so they can previs it out. And he just goes like, well, I like it, but we'll see what the director has to say. And he keeps on saying that. And you're
what?
You're the
director.
You're the director. What are you talking about? And then it cuts to like an interview with George, like to the camera interview. And he's like,
what am I doing? What am I doing?
Okay, that's Ben editorializing here a little bit, throwing in his 2 cents. He goes, director, and they cut to him, and he goes, I've asked a very good friend of mine who is a director to come give me some advice on the previs, Steven Spielberg, who's a good friend of mine and a great filmmaker. And it just cuts back to a montage of him going like, the director said that maybe...
He just calls him the director?
Yes. And
That's
he's
weird.
giving notes on the storyboards and being like, I don't know if this is too ambitious, and don't blame me, blame the director, but he thought it would be cool if the thing flips over. And then they cut back to the interview with George, and he goes, it's nice because it gives me a bit of a buffer so I can just blame everything on the director so people don't get angry at me.
George Lucas doesn't want people to get angry at him.
Insanity. But they don't make it clear if he... Oh, because he goes, well, the director's coming in on Monday to one of them. And they go, when are you going to tell us who it is? And he goes, you'll see. But you never see him referring to Spielberg by his name, so it's unclear if he's just had everyone on his staff go like, who the fuck is this director?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonathan Levine.
Yeah, right.
Taylor Hackford, everybody.
Yeah. If you want to actually motivate people, say, hey, Spielberg thought this was a good idea.
Steven fucking Spielberg.
Yeah, master of visual storytelling and fucking narrative economy. Steven Spielberg.
Anyway,
but onto this scene.
What do we think of this scene?
I
So this is
love
where
this scene.
It's defining.
It's great.
It's
great.
defining the opposition in the Senate.
This is what I like in this scene. They're setting up this idea that Bail Organa is leading a charge of
democracy,
like-minded people.
He
who are
says
saying, we're not going to put up.
He's like, we're going to preserve democracy in this galaxy, even if it's like all fucked up right now.
And Padme is like
Look at her.
really
She looks ridiculous. You have to admit she looks ridiculous.
She looks
right
ridiculous.
now.
Mon
I
Mothma.
think she looks stunning.
She's a beautiful lady. She looks ridiculous.
Mon Mothma is
Wow, 'cause of
wearing
headgear. I
She's
don't,
got,
I don't
like-
know
she's
their
got, like,
native. I don't
Beats
know
headphones
the
on.
native
Yeah, it's
customs of wherever
the
Mon
Beats
Mothma's
headphones on
from.
her ears, but also on her
She looks
forehead.
like us
Yeah.
right now.
She does look like us right now. That's a fair goose.
Oh wait, she looks better than us. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, I love that you're making fun of her because she has headphones on. And look at it.
We're three
Oh,
guys.
what a nerd!
Well, it's a
Look at
little
this one.
rude. She could be listening to this meeting.
They
rather
could be
than...
doing a podcast about. Well, we're going to start the Rebel Alliance.
She's
Why don't
listening
we,
to a podcast.
Why don't we record it?
She's listening to all things considered.
She's the only one that's going to sound good.
Yeah, is this sort of the NPR crowd in the Galactic Senate?
No
Do you
question.
wonder?
Yes,
like
yes. These are the
I have
Whole
some
Foods
concerns
people.
about what's
Yeah.
happening right now.
There's unquestionably a Whole Foods on Alderaan, right? Like that's a Whole Foods.
Are they
planet.
on Alderaan? Is that where
I
this
think
is
so.
supposed to be?
Bale's
This isn't
office.
on Coruscant?
I think he's from the planet Alderaan, right?
They're
No,
all,
he is.
They're all big fans of Wait, Ichuta.
But
That was
this,
stupid. I'm sorry.
No, that was
I should
great. Are
Be,
you
I should be
kidding me?
banned.
Padme has a lot of agency here. And is it this scene where they're talking about it, about their plans to start this group, and they go, if we're going to be successful, we have to be secret. You have to
Yeah.
be ready to not talk about this to anyone, including your family.
Yeah,
And
so
they-
it's right. It's setting up a little more of a conflict with her and Anakin that's less one-sided.
Right.
Because we talked about this earlier, but like the movie gives Padme nothing to do.
No agency.
She just
A
sort of
lot of time in her apartment waiting
Yeah.
for Anakin to
just
show up.
waits
Yeah.
for Anakin. She cries. That's it. Like
Right.
she, And here, like you're saying, they're planting the seeds of rebellion, which is the name of the next scene.
Yeah.
Here's C-3PO, who's not in the movie, basically.
Yeah.
Totally different hairstyle.
Yeah, it looks
this
good
is
here.
her apartment.
Yeah.
So I guess this is just another scene kind of following on from the same thread, right?
Yeah.
But it is.
Mon
I mean,
Mothma's taking off the headphones.
but let's point this out. There are like 4 deleted scenes focusing on Padme.
Oh, and that's Bai Ling.
yeah,
You
which
see
is
Bai
really
Ling?
weird.
Did you see her?
Because she's not in the first meeting and not in the third meeting, but she's in this one.
Wait, come on, get back to
Yeah.
Bai Ling. Did you notice Bai Ling, Mike?
I did not.
But this is another major complaint we've had across this movie is that Padme is given nothing to do, and it turns out they shot an entire plot line for her, like an entire subplot
There she is.
That's
yeah.
Bai Ling.
that they removed.
Yeah, they took it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's like 2 hours, 25 minutes.
Yeah, I could
They had to
suggest
cut something.
45 minutes that could be cut.
I agree.
What about R2 peeing? Cut that.
You don't get on AFI's
That's true. It's true. It's a funny
true.
scene.
funny
It's a funny scene.
times
It's
for
a funny
funny
scene.
people or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's called Funny Times for Funny People.
That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Mike's just dying at that.
This
There's
dri-
Bai Ling. She
there's
has a
Bai
whole
Ling.
line.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
drives me
Smits.
crazy though. Well, Smits is getting a lot more to play.
He
in
does
these
kind of
scenes.
look like Mussolini, though. Like, what is this uniform he's got with like kind of
like
the epaulets?
I like it.
Bale's a solid name.
And then Bale's a good name,
Bale's a good name.
and Organa's kind of a cool name
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
And then there's confronting the Chancellor. These scenes all follow on each other, and I assume would have been kind of part of Jar Jar's in this one.
Yeah.
Would have been part of like sort of interspersed, just against the other plot lines. in the
Rather
film.
than not seeing
Speaking
Padme
of
for
funny
40
times
minutes.
for funny people.
Oh, what
yeah,
a guy.
Jar Jar. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what he's that's what makes Phantom Menace such a ribald
On the DVD
comedy.
release of AFI's Funny Times for Funny People, it's Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. They don't give Jar Jar any gags in this scene though.
Yeah, he could
Is
fall
he
over.
friends with the calamari man?
Yeah, there's an awesome fucking like crustacean.
So cool.
This scene is them coming to Palpatine and
Are they?
trying
Do you
to,
think they're
like,
friends?
level with him.
Who's friends?
Jar Jar and the calamari man.
Probably
Yeah.
right. I mean, like
They
I
hang out
don't
in the water a
want to
lot.
cast like any kind of aspersions on like frog aliens tend to hang out with each other, but
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have a lot like we're aquatic folk, you know.
Yeah.
Game
they have
recognized game.
yeah, they have a lot to talk about that the other group guys might not understand.
But Anakin is.
This is just them saying to Palpatine like, we don't like that you are a dictator.
We have some reservations.
And see, this is the dreadlock hairstyle.
Dolezal.
This is a little much. Mike's just
You don't have to say anything, Mike. But your silence speaks volumes. But this scene is insane because we have seen how easy it was for the clones to kill the Jedis. There's no need for them to go undercover, pull a ruse.
Yeah, all they needed to do was pull out a gun very slowly.
Wait for someone
and
to
say,
turn around.
I'm going to shoot you.
I'm trying to figure out what the plan was there. Like,
doesn't seem like they had much of a plan.
the clones' plan. Like,
yeah.
Wait till they turn around.
That's the
Wait
whole
till
thing.
they turn around.
Hey, Ayala, look over there. And then
Look-
Ayala Secure turns around, they shoot her in the
Is
back.
that more Jedi?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, free titties. And then Kayadima D turns around, they shoot him in the back of the head. The old free titties ruse.
The next scene is called...
You know, Mike, the old free titties ruse? Mike knows what I'm talking
Mike's
about.
laughing right now.
Mike agrees.
Oh, man.
Maybe this podcast will make AFI's... what's it called again?
100 laughs for funny people, funny times for funny
We are.
people.
Funny times for funny people.
Funny times for funny people.
All right, the next scene is
Oh,
called
man.
Yoda Communes with Qui-Gon.
Now, this scene's huge.
This scene gives some backstory to that random conversation Yoda has with Obi-Wan at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
FYI, I know all the Jedi are dead.
I talked to Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Can you
I
believe
totally
it?
forgot to tell you this.
So here he is talking to him, but the voice is hilarious.
He's on an asteroid.
It's obviously
by the
not
way.
Liam Neeson. Liam
It's a
Neeson did
temp
not
trap.
do
Liam
any
Neeson
voiceover.
was, not
Well,
available.
We heard in interviews that he said, like, he just turned it down.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, it may
But then
be
he-
because of unavailability, but they shot this scene. They did a temp
Thinking
cut.
he would come
They
back and do
thought
some
they were going to get him to
voiceover,
do it.
yeah.
I think this scene was cut because he wouldn't or
Because
couldn't
this
do
scene is visualized. It's on an
it.
asteroid.
The effects are finished.
It's all done.
It's all
Yoda's
CGI.
there.
Yoda's totally
Yeah.
finished. The background's totally finished.
What is this asteroid? We never see this asteroid again. It's not in the
No,
movie.
this is the base. No, that establishing shot's there. This is where they meet with Bail Organa at a point.
Really?
This
I
is
don't
this is
remember.
where Padme's babies are born.
Oh.
I'm telling you, they use the same establishing shot here.
Okay. Well, I don't remember it.
Because it doesn't make any sense. But Yoda's sitting with his eyes closed, and there's just voiceover of Qui-Gon.
But it's
not. He hasn't even
But
introduced
it's a really
himself.
funny voice.
Yeah, he's just like, "Hey, Yoda,
It's obviously just a fill-in going, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do this real quick. But
I found a way to transcend life and death."
It's a little
I've become
creepy
one
because
with
he's
the
saying, like,
Force.
you'll be the most powerful Jedi ever.
can we put the voice on? Because it's the funniest voice.
You don't have the clip, do you?
No, I didn't pull that.
We could add it later.
When I became one with the Force, I made a great discovery. You will learn to merge with the Force at will, but you will still retain your consciousness. You will become more powerful than any Jedi could imagine.
That's supposed to be Qui-Gon Jinn.
The Force.
It sounds like
the Force.
like Apple, the Apple like
Mac-a-talk.
Mac Talk, yeah,
Yeah.
where it's just like
Yeah.
the Force. It's
Yeah.
got this sort of like bass sound effect.
You will be the most powerful Jedi.
Also, he's not talking. It's like a away message or like leaving like a voicemail or
Yeah.
something. It's like crazy.
Hey, I'm Qui-Gon.
'Cause
I
Yoda
can't get
doesn't
to the
react.
phone
Yeah,
right
Yoda's
now.
not like, I have some questions about this.
Yeah,
I have
Yoda's-
transcended death. I have become more powerful than you can imagine. Leave a
Yoda's
message
just
after
sitting
the beep.
there, and then Organa shows up, and he's like,
Like,
"Oh,
okay,
Obi-Wan.
I'll get back to this
Obi-Wan's called." Yeah.
Weird scene.
What a weird scene.
What do you think? What do you think Jimmy Smits' face looked like at the premiere of Revenge of the Sith when he's like, "Oh, literally every shot I'm in,
Yeah.
except one that got cut." That's neat.
It's true.
It is astounding how Jimmy Smits is in almost every one of these deleted scenes.
Yeah,
Like we
poor
were,
Smits.
because he's like 5th build on IMDb, and we were like, how did he get up that high? Clearly, in the script, he had like a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's
Well,
feels
and
like a
he's
cameo.
going to take one of the kids. Like they're
Yeah.
setting him up for big things.
And this
And
also
failure.
establishes that he has a relationship with Padme. That that they were allies. I mean, all of this. Sets up why Anakin was so quick to flip on Padme.
Love that ship though, huh?
That ship is great. No
Love
bits.
that
Great ship.
That Smith ship bits.
So those are the deleted scene guns we did. I mean, it's a whole other movie with these scenes, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
It's still not a good movie, but it's a different movie.
It's a movie.
It's a little better movie.
It's a more sensical movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good, but at least it does help out, like filling a lot.
It wouldn't
of
be
the
as
gaps.
frustrating. It'd be like, well, I can understand why this
Yeah.
person did this. Yeah.
Yeah, your criticism would more be like, oh, I don't like the acting or the visuals.
Hey,
Right,
why don't
not
we,
the story.
Why don't we talk about scenes we would have liked to add?
Okay.
I've got one.
Everyone had a scene. Ben?
The Jedi play a game of basketball. The council puts together like a basketball
Now
game.
that sort of sounds like X-Men, where it would be like, there'd always be like,
Or Avatar.
yeah, oh, they're playing baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we get to see them use their cool powers, like, oh, a little bit of fun,
Yeah.
But the Jedi's aren't allowed to have fun.
I think that would have been a really fun scene.
All right, I'm gonna play your game here a little bit.
Okay.
Mike just said that, like,
There's-
I'll play your
Resentfully.
Whoa.
There's this interesting character at the end that's standing next to Vader and the Emperor.
What's his name?
And,
Tarkin.
and in the
Tarkin.
credits, his name is Tarkin.
Got weirdly high billing.
I would have loved to get a little bit of more backstory on that guy.
Who's that guy?
Who are just like the suits? We know the Sith, but who are the people who are just
Like,
doing
that
the
guy
menial
seems like,
evil
I
day
bet
jobs?
he has an interesting backstory because I bet he plays like a larger role later.
He makes it to the fucking podium with Palpatine and Vader. It's like
Yeah.
it's the three of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a really
know
good
what?
call.
I feel he deserved a little more than a cameo.
You know what would have
Yeah,
been
I agree.
cool if instead of him, Watto was just flying, hovering there. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Vader and Palpatine looking out at the thing being built, and then Watto's
and then
just
and then
there
Vader
too.
and Watto look at each other. They both nod in
it's like-
acknowledgement, and then stare at the Death Star.
Glad you
Glad
you could be here.
Yeah,
Okay, you want my...
this means something to me.
Do you have a deleted scene, David?
I don't know. You go ahead.
This is the scene I wish was in the movie.
Funny times for funny people.
It's going to be... This scene's going to have everything. It's going to have laughs. It's going to have chills. It's going to have thrills.
Wow.
The bar where they chase Zam Wessel to?
Yeah, in the second movie.
Right.
Death Sticks.
Right. They
I
just,
think that's actually the name of the bar.
Yeah.
Death Sticks.
They cut back to that bar,
Okay.
like in the middle of Order 66. They cut back to that bar, just to like a little palate cleanser. and like a bunch of people are drinking, slumped over at the bar. They're all like pissed off, and then the DJ throws on "I Want You Back" by the Jackson 5, and then it's just like who hits the dance floor? Gra Gra, Watto, Tarples,
all the old favorites.
TC-14.
Oh, she's dead.
No, she's alive.
Is she rebuilt? Like, can you tell there's like tape on her?
Yeah,
do you
and
remember
she looks
TC-14?
better than ever.
C-3PO gets rebuilt. Like, of course, TC-14
Of course,
still alive.
but the donut ship blew up, though. Let's not forget.
I feel like I'm bringing some past sort of anger into this. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to give you a platform
guys,
to defend your work.
We have George Lucas on this show.
We have George Lucas on the show.
Sure.
This is a huge opportunity. This is what we wanted the whole time. We're trying to make sense of these films. That's what we're doing. I mean, we sort of view ourselves as pop culture investigators, detectives.
I guess so.
Maybe
I'm just a
one
guy
could
in a
say
room,
that's
man.
a better branding hook.
Well, I'm here to. I can answer any questions you have.
Okay.
Obviously, this is the story I wanted to tell.
Yeah. Well, let's get on to that. So Phantom Menace comes out in 1999.
That's right. Great year for movies.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a banner year for American cinema.
Yeah. I don't know what else came out.
A lot of stuff. I mean,
But so you're saying just on the basis of Phantom Menace alone, it was a great
I don't
year
remember
for
what
movies.
else came out, but I know it was a great year.
that
for
was
movies.
definitely. I mean, that was the #1 box office film of that year.
Yeah.
I know Toy Story 2, my favorite movie of all time, came in that year.
Hey, Pixar.
Oh, you founded Pixar.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Or you didn't found
I didn't
it, but
found
you,
it, but
you owned it for a while.
I owned it, and then it was bought from me. But
Yeah, you
still,
sold
I
it to
get the
Steve
credit.
Jobs.
Okay,
I get
we
the credit for it.
we gotta talk about the Star Wars movies, but
Sure.
another quick sidebar.
I can't help it if I point out.
No, because I mean, I
responsible
want to
for.
stay focused because this is what this podcast is
Now,
about.
and they did the stained glass man in Young Sherlock Holmes.
Young Sherlock
which
Holmes,
I
right.
misidentified
Yes.
as being from Young Indiana Jones.
Which was also a
on
George
last week's
Lucas
episode.
production.
Yes.
Pixar,
Yes.
you buy it. At the time, they have, I think, 3 animators on staff. John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and Pete Docter.
Sure.
All 3 of whom have gone on to win Academy Awards.
Yeah.
You, after a couple years, sell the company because it is losing money and you don't see a reality in which it will ever turn a profit.
Sure. I mean, that's one way to spin it.
I believe that's...
I still get credit for it, you know?
Well, my question is, does it burn at all? You're a man of tremendous success. You've broken records in both directions.
Yeah.
Do you look at Pixar, the most consistently successful movie studio in history, arguably?
Hey, I still ended up getting all that money.
From when you sold it?
Yeah.
So how much...
No, in the end, the money came back to me in the end. Pixar goes on to make all that money for Disney, and then I end up getting that Disney money.
That's a good point.
Money always comes back to Georgia.
Look,
Is that your
catchphase?
No, that's not a catchphrase.
The
It's
house
just a
always
true
wins.
fact.
I want to get back to the point that you were making, which is the first movie has tons of Jar Jar
George has
Binks,
the
delightful
biggest
characters.
Give them what they
grin
want
on his
because
face.
things are relatively. We're in a good place in Phantom Menace. There's some bad business going on.
Bad
But it's a little bit
business.
under the surface.
Mhm.
It's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. And
He does
part
have
of
a
the
shit-eating grin.
part of the
He
reason
does. He's grinning
part
so
of the
wide.
reason-
If you guys could see this.
part of the reason why you deprive the audience of Jar Jar in episodes 2 and 3 is that's the audience will feel it. They absorb it. They think, why
the
is
lack
it,
of comedy,
it's not as much fun
the
now.
lack of smiles.
Things are less fun than they
Yeah.
used to be. And that's a loud and clear message.
To what ultimate end? What's the payoff there? You take him away so they feel the absence, and then you never bring him back. His final
I did
mo-
bring him back. He's sad when...
Yeah,
In
that's
the
my
funeral-
point. So the
funeral
final
scene.
payoff is you see him shed a single
Well,
tear?
That's what I want to get this to.
Restraint.
The final payoff of the whole movies is
Restraint.
that the galaxy collapses into ruin
Yep.
and is controlled by a tyrant.
Yep.
And the Jedi are massacred.
Right.
And our hero turns into a villain.
Yep.
And his legs get chopped off and he's set on fire and he gets put into a metal sort of iron lung.
Sure.
So that's a pretty down. There's not a lot of up.
No.
Of course not.
The only up
Of course
really is
not.
that his 2 kids
tragedy.
are alive.
Oh, I'd love to hear you guys. You should do, you know, I have a suggestion for your next podcast. You should read all the Shakespeare plays, then have William Shakespeare come in here to defend the end of Hamlet.
Well, that's
That'd
not
be
a
great.
problem. We couldn't book the real William Shakespeare because he's dead. and
No,
we
but I
don't
bet
book
you'd have a lot of
joke
problems
guests.
with
We
the
don't
ending
do
of,
bits.
A lot of problems with the ending of Hamlet.
I don't have any problems with the ending of Hamlet because Hamlet was structured from the beginning to be a tragedy.
Well, this was structured from the beginning to be a tragedy.
When the kid's saying yippee and he's running around with a space Caribbean.
Yeah,
and
Hamlet's having fun at the beginning of that.
Yeah, I forgot Hamlet has that big pod race scene at the beginning. Remember that first act of Hamlet?
First of all, Shakespeare...
Billy Crystal is in Hamlet. Let's not forget.
A version of Hamlet. Billy Crystal isn't in the
And
original
also,
text
what
of
about
Hamlet.
2? Hamlet 2 is a lot more fun than Hamlet
That's
1.
a loose sequel. That's a loose sequel, and you know it.
Well,
there's none of the same characters.
It sounds like you're criticizing me for things that I did on purpose.
I'm trying not to criticize you. I'm trying to make sense of this, okay?
Could we ask about the directing of Jake Lloyd?
Yes, great question.
So you bring in, that's a great
Poet
question.
laureate. This is why we have you
We
in
asked
here.
you what Phantom Menace was about, and you focused on Anakin.
Sure.
I still think we can get
It's
better
also-
answer out of that, but we'll get back to that
So
later.
we've got Jake Lloyd. You bring him in.
Yeah.
What about Jake Lloyd spoke to you when you were casting?
Yeah, talk about the casting process.
If you ever saw Unhook the Stars, Jake Lloyd's very good in that movie.
Yes,
directed by
we
Nick
agree
Cassavetes.
with that.
Yeah.
Yes, we've said that in the past.
That's obviously got a different acting style than the prequels do.
Naturalistic,
Jake,
human.
Jake gets a lot of early on. There were naysayers. I think they would be a little bit hard on Jake, but I think if you look at the baseline acting style that I established for the whole movie, I think Jake Lloyd's acting holds up with Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor. I think across the
Untrue.
board,
Categorically incorrect.
I would say he's a little more one note.
You're actually going to sit here in this room, look me in the eyes, and tell me that Jake Lloyd is delivering the same level of performance as
Yes.
Liam Neeson in that film.
I would say
you
that.
are a sociopath.
No.
George Lucas, you are a sociopath.
I would say that.
You
I
would say that. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you're a lunatic. I'm sorry.
I
sorry.
didn't know
I'm
you were
sorry.
going to be this angry.
I didn't either. No, I really thought.
I think
no,
you should relax.
I have to relax.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
seriously.
Dave. You
No,
take the next
this
question.
is exact.
I got it.
No, I would say the reason you're angry is because you should be angry after you watch these movies. That's the point.
Episode 7.
What do you?
So they're just
I'm not
skipping
involved.
4, 5,
I
and
pitched,
6?
I pitched some ideas. J.J. Abrams is directing it, but I have not had it.
Hold on one second. They're coming out with a script in December. So they're in pre-production.
No, that's done apparently, and it's going to come out. I'll be seeing it like an audience member with everybody else.
Wait, but so you're going from episode 3 straight to episode 7?
Yeah, they're going to fill in the blanks later? What's
That's
the
so
idea?
weird. What?
No.
Good what there, Ben?
Well, I mean,
what?
I've already the episodes 4, 5, and 6 are available on Blu-ray. Those are all you can see those.
Okay, George, I know this has not been a very civil interview,
Oh, wait.
and I've been fucking with you a lot, but this is not
Ben's got
funny.
something. Ben's
this
got
isn't
something.
a
Ben's
funny
got
thing
something.
to talk
Old Ben?
What?
So
Old Ben's got something.
Old Ben, producer
Old Ben's
Ben Kenobi?
peeping on something.
There's an episode 4.
No, there isn't.
Yeah,
This is
no.
not. How would we
I'm
not
seeing-
know about that?
Griffin,
Ben?
you're not facing his screen. I'm seeing it.
It's
There's
called
a Darth Vader
It's called
mask.
A New Hope.
When it
It
come
came
out?
out in 1977.
That's impossible, Ben. That's 30
I
years
swear
earlier.
to God,
That's impossible.
I hate bits, but we have talked a lot about there's one movie in your canon that we kept forgetting the name of.
Yeah, but I thought it was another like a character
Guys, there's
drama.
2 others.
Well,
There's
it was like
The
THX
Empire Strikes
1139.
I know why-
Back,
I know-
5.
What are you talking about?
I know why.
Just
actually,
look.
though, you've got the dates wrong on that. Those were rough drafts of movies that I came out with. The real episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out in the 90s.
Do you understand how hard it is to believe anything you say with answers
No,
like that?
but
What
I
are
understand.
you talking
No,
about?
I understand why you're
It's
confused.
messy.
In the 1990s, I finished the original trilogy just a few years before Phantom Menace. A New Hope is episode 4. Empire Strikes Back is episode 5. Return of the Jedi is episode 6. They came out the same year. I released 3 movies in 1 year, brand new, and those are the movies. I did test screenings in 1977 and the early 1980s of episodes 4, 5, and 6. They went very well. Probably the most successful test screenings in
But
the
you
history of film.
really refined him in 96.
But
or
the
7
actual
or
movies
whatever.
themselves came out in the 1990s, and that's why you might be confused.
So just to clarify,
Sure.
the first film chronologically came out in 1999.
Yes.
Second came out in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Third came out in 2005.
Oh, that's right.
In 1997,
That's right. That's the year.
you released, quote unquote, 3 movies simultaneously that were shot in the 70s and 80s.
That's right. We shot them in the 70s, but not all of them. We finished them. They took a long time to make. We did some test screenings. It went very well. In 77, re-released for a second round of test screenings in 78. Then, rather than completing the 4th one, we said, let's make the 2nd and 3rd one, do test screenings of those, and then eventually we'll release the final version of those in 1997.
And now there's a 7th one coming out in a month.
But I don't have anything to do with that. I
But
see why you're
J.J. Abrams,
confused.
creator of Felicity, directed
Creator
it?
of Felicity, a screenwriter of Regarding Henry.
Joyride. He rewrote Joyride.
Can
he
you
wrote
process
Armageddon.
this, David? This is huge.
I just have one thing to say, which is that I hate bits.
Well, I hope all you listeners enjoyed today's ep. I know for me, it was a reminder of just how proud I am of this show, and I know it will continue to evolve, and I will have way too many nicknames, and the episodes will all probably be like 3 hours long. But on behalf of Griffin, David, and myself, we love making this podcast and are thankful for everyone's support out there. Later this week, we'll have a final best of out from our episodes on the original trilogy and holiday special. Next week, we'll have an episode on M. Night's new movie, Split. And then we will begin our new mini-series on director Steve Spielberg, The DreamWorks Years, which we're going to be calling Padme If You Cast. All right, this has been Producer Ben, and taking us out is a supercut with our favorite moments with, I don't know, this Chewbacca character.
Yoda's off on some planet with these things called Wookiees that is this like bizarre diversion.
Whole other episode.
Even for this movie is really weird.
Other episode.
It is so weird.
I agree with you that it sets up literally nothing. It's the planet Kashyyyk. It's these hairy...
Yeah, these Wookiees, including like a Wookiee called Chewbacca, who he like is like, "Hello, Chewbacca. It's nice to meet you. You know, we are great friends with you."
I think he wants to get like the big furry dudes to join the clone troopers, but
Wookiees. I think they're called
good
Wookiees.
relations with the Wookiees I have,
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
He says something like
right,
that.
which you don't know anything about. Don't even talk. I don't think.
No.
That fucking Wookiee. Not
we talked about this
Tarful,
last week.
but
How weird it is.
Chewbacca.
Yoda is so nice to this random Wookiee called Chewbacca.
Who's he paying off to get this kind of billing? I bet he's a fucking fourth build in this movie.
He's
Chewbacca.
high build in this movie.
If that,
Yeah.
he's barely in
He's
it.
barely in it. He doesn't do anything. What kid wants to eat Chewbacca? What kid remembers Chewbacca?
Like the Wookiee stuff. I thought that battle with the Wookiees was pretty cool. I like the Wookiees. They seem like an interesting thing.
Where are they coming from? What the fuck
I
is
don't
this
know.
shit?
And then he climbs onto that one Wookiee's head and goes, "I'll miss you, Chewbacca."
We've talked about this
Who
5
the
weeks
fuck-
in a row.
Why the fuck is that important? Who the fuck is Chewbacca?
Guest we've had on has pointed that out. Who
2
the
minutes.
fuck is this one guy he's singling out?
Yeah, why is it, you just friends with this one guy? And he goes like, "A good relationship with the Wookiee I have."
Since when?
So apparently you were buddies with this one guy, Chewbacca. Cool, man.
I think there's 2 Wookiees.
It looks like Chewbacca, although
He
it's
doesn't
it's
say
like,
his name.
But also, I feel like you guys are making a bigger deal of Chewbacca than he is in the movie. Because in the
I don't
movie,
like
it's
that.
they're just like Chewbacca. You know, Yoda's just like
It's
blah,
just
blah,
that,
blah,
it's that
Chewbacca,
Yoda line.
and
It's
then
the
Yoda
Yoda
leaves.
line. It's
Yeah.
the Yoda line where he's like, "We've always been friends," and you're like,
I don't think he doesn't even say that.
He
he
says,
goes, Chewbacca, thank you so much for speaking at my wedding. That time you gave me a loan of $5,000.
I feel like he's just like, thanks, Chewbacca, for like, you helped save me. You 2 Wookiees helped save me.
You wrote a college recommendation for my kid. One time quickly to process, and then you can leave. What are the 3 titles of these films? Because there was a lot to process at once. I need to hear the new... I just found out that 3 new Star Wars movies exist.
Star Wars: A New Hope, the Special Edition. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, the Special Edition. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, Special Edition. Those are the 3 titles of the 3 films.
You're a monster. Okay, thank you for being
You
here,
are
George.
his
And they
Yeah,
follow the
George's
same
monster.
exact plot lines as the prequels. They mirror them. I did them ring style.
I don't even know what to say.
Oh, I mean ring style.
"Is Darth Vader in them?"
Yeah.
Wait, is Jimmy Smits in them?
No.
Dexter Jester?
No.
Watto?
No.
CC-14.
No.
Gragra? So none of our favorite characters.
Wait.
Oh, I have a question. What about this Chewbacca guy? Is he in it?
Oh yeah, I brought Chewbacca back.
God damn it! Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.